Oh, John.
Yes.
My cup doth runneth over, sir. Wait, I fucked that one up. My cup doth runneth over. How do you say? How would you say that? My cup doth. Okay. Man, there's a lot
you
of.
got it right the first time.
There's a lot of games this week. There are a lot of games out this week. I am really, like, I'm kind of deadlocked. Like, I kind of wanted to go back and play Forgotten Anne and Omen Sight from last week. I've been playing Wizard of Legend, but, like, this week, in addition to State of Decay, like, did you know that Mike Bithell dropped a kind of a spiritual sequel to Subsurface Circular on Steam called Quarantine Circular?
Is this that one where you like talk to aliens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the last one was the one that Amanda played it for a Patreon video. I think it was where it's just like you were talking to, you're like trying to solve a robot murder mystery on a train.
Yeah.
And it's like $5, and I'm like, God damn, I'd like to play that. And then the bloodstained 8-bit came out.
Oh yeah, it came out. The 8-bit one came out. I would fucking love to play any of those things.
Well, why don't you then?
Because I don't have internet.
No,
at my house.
Well,
because ATT is fucking.
Here's what we'll do.
Shitting in my cereal.
You bring me a hard drive, and I'll put as much internet as I can fit on one hard drive. Then you can take it home with you. And then once you're done with that internet, you just call me. We can get 2 hard drives, and I'll put some internet on one. And then you can be like, Jeff, do you have the drive that has Google on it? I'll be like, yeah, here it is.
I don't think that's how that works, Jeff.
Is that not how the internet works?
No, I don't think that's how it works.
All I do is talk into a microphone and then hit a button, and then it goes.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, so you're getting fucked by. What's funny is that you and I have the same internet provider, but it sounds like they're.
Oh no! So here's the thing: AT&T, I've discovered if your service is working, it's great, no problems. If you have to call their support for any reason, go fuck yourself.
Actually, you know what? That happened to me because I was having a problem where my router was like intermittently going out, and they were like, "Well, we have to set up a technician to come out and check it." And like, I download these huge files for the Scam School editing. And I'm like, I cannot have my internet my internet always needs to be working.
I know.
And they were like, okay, well, we're going to set up a technician to come out tomorrow. And the next day, my internet started working again. And I called them, and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know that you don't need to send a technician. The internet's working again. And they were like, there's no record of sending out a technician. And I was like, But on the bright side, they did send me a replacement router, and they told me if I didn't send the old one back in like 30 days, they would charge me for it. And it's still sitting downstairs, and they're just like, we don't want that shit back.
So like our internet, we called them. They're like, oh, well, according to our, we're logged into your modem. Everything's working fine. Your thing's working fine. The lights are all green. We show you have internet.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I can't browse. Nothing. It's like, well, are you connected wirelessly or wired? Both. We'll disconnect the wired and only try connecting wirelessly. And then restart your router.
That's not a proper troubleshooting technique.
Trust me, I know. I'm like, all right, whatever. So, I try it. Nope, still not working. Okay, well, disconnect everything that's wireless and connect only wired. Nope, still not working. Okay, well, we show everything is working. Well, it's not. Okay, we'll send. This was like Wednesday.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is like last week Wednesday, and they're like, well, we'll send a technician out on Monday.
Yeah.
Because that's as soon as we can get someone out. All right, fine. They send someone out. Guy comes out. He's like, everything I'm showing looks like it should be working, but I also see that it's not working. I can confirm right here, standing with you, that it is not, in fact, working. I'm going to replace your router. Takes our router back to his truck, comes back, replaces it. He goes, I'm going to replace it with an older model that's a little bit more stable and, those used won't even connect now. And he's like, well, I'm going to replace this router.
Yeah.
Takes that router, comes back with a different version of the new router, basically the same model that we originally had, but it's a different router. Connects that one, goes, it's doing the same thing as the first router.
Gee, it's almost like the problem isn't the router or anything in your house.
And it's like, all right, well, let me try some other things. Tries a bunch of other stuff. None of that's fixing it. Well, I guess we're just having an outage.
Yeah.
You guess?
Yeah. I got a call from my manager. He said another guy is also having a similar issue. Okay, where's that guy located? Austin South? Yeah.
Okay, is anyone in this area having an issue? Not that I know of. So out of this entire apartment complex, I'm the only one that's having an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, John.
A server's down. There's an entire server down, and you're the only one affected by it.
Yeah, you got hacked. It's the server. It's your server. You don't know. Everybody has their own server. You know?
Right.
That's the problem.
It's not like I've not worked for an internet service provider, Jeff. But yeah, so he's like, well, there's nothing I can do because of that outage that I just completely made up. So I'm going to go when the outage is fixed. You should have internet.
Right.
Left. I call their support, and he felt bad. Like, the guy felt bad. The guy who came out, he's like, yeah, there's not anything I can do because I'm being told there's an outage. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then, like, goes to, and then said, if you want to call them when I leave, you can call them by phone. I call them over the phone. They want me to go through all the trouble. She was like, no, motherfucker, I just had a technician leave. I'm not doing your goddamn troubleshooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, I don't see an outage in your area, so I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think you're actually telling me what the rep told you, what the technician told you. Oh, so you're calling me a liar now.
Yeah.
Well, let me re-verify what's on your account. Hold for like 5 minutes, comes back, talks for a little bit longer, kind of tells me nothing.
Yeah.
But like that, that special technical support internet jargon where it sounds like they're saying something, but if you actually know what they're saying, they are saying jack squat.
Right.
And then goes, let me reevaluate your account again. Puts me on hold for another 5 minutes, comes back.
Is that weird hold thing? Oh, no, wait, that's what... Never mind. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, but it's like, and then comes back, and then it's like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they just updated. Yeah, there's totally an outage that you're being affected by. It's one server, and you're the only one in your apartment complex that's affected by it.
So it was the John Sitton personal server that went down.
I was like... Okay. The guy was like, "Oh, I'll call you back when it's up and running, and you'll so that you know that your internet's working." All right, fine, whatever. Like 2 hours later, I get a call back, and he's like, "Hey, your internet's working. I'm routed into your modem right now, and everything's working fine." No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. I'm both wired and wireless. Well, we did issue you a new router, so are you sure you're actually connected to the router? Yes, motherfucker. I reconnected everything. My tablet and my computer. My computer's plugged directly into the fucking modem.
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
John's really angry, y'all.
Oh, yeah. No, this is... And then, like, starts like, well, why don't we do some trouble? It's like, no. Give me your manager. Give me your manager.
Yeah.
We've already gone through all this. Give me your manager. Well, my manager's not available. They'll have to call you back. Okay, fine. An hour and a half later, get a call back from a manager. So I hear that you had a technician scheduled to come out and he no-showed on you?
No.
No, that's not what happened. Oh. This is what happened. Well, I'm connected to your modem right now, and everything's working. Yeah, I just explained that every one of your reps tells me that. Are you listening to what I'm telling you? Huh. Okay, well, we want to have someone come out in the middle of the day on Wednesday to fix it. No one's going to be here, and I don't have anyone else that can be here when I'm not here.
Right.
Well, can you have someone else that's not you be there when you're not here? Did you not just listen to what I fucking just said?
Are you sure that you were actually like? Did you? Was this maybe not just like a really really good robot?
Oh no,
like
their robots
good
are bad because their robots sound like robots and they also make keyboard clicking noises.
Oh yes, that's what I was going to ask you about. Where it's like,
I fucking
hold
hate
on,
that shit.
Let me check, and it's like. It's like, we all know you're a robot. You're not fooling anybody with your keyboard, Cindy. Like,
that shit fucking pisses me off too. But
the only thing that's worse than that is when it makes that weird, like high pitched.
Oh yeah,
like it's process. Don't process in my ear. I'm just trying to get to fucking customer service.
Yeah, but so then that person was like, "Well, the soonest we can get anyone out there is Sunday morning."
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, fine, but here's the thing: if they don't fix it,
Time Warner Cable will be out here on Wednesday from 2 to 4.
Yeah, well, it's like, my first response was like, if he doesn't fix it, I was like, no, I need someone out here sooner than that. I haven't had internet for a fucking week at this point.
Yeah,
I need someone sooner. And they were like, well, trust me, sir, you need to give us a chance. He's going to come out, and I guarantee the problem is going to be fixed. Okay, how can you guarantee that it's going to be fixed when no one else has been able to guarantee that? Well, because I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
That actually set me off more than anything by saying, because I can.
Oh,
Because I want you off my phone.
Oh, I didn't realize I was talking to Mr. Internet.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, so is there a next step if this person comes out, this second senior level field technician comes out and looks at the problem and is unable to fix it. Is there a next step after that? And she's like, well, no, we won't need it because I guarantee you he's going to fix it. You keep using that word. I don't think you know what it means. And I said that. I was like, you keep using that word guarantee. I don't think you know what it means, you crazy lady. I was like, all right, here's the deal. He's going to come out. If he fixes it, I better be credited. And they already gave us half off our next month, which is fine. Which if he fixes it, that actually covers the time that
like a TCBY gift card that's fixing the problem in my eyes. But
but I'm just saying, like if he fixes it, getting my next month half off is fine because that's exactly how much time I've not had service. But if he doesn't fix it, the service is canceled.
I think
because they can go fuck themselves. At that point.
I mean, I think like okay, half off is good, but like you need to make there's some inconvenience charges going on here. Like maybe 2 free months.
I also really appreciated the first rep. One of his experts was like, "Well, you know what I think the problem is, and this is not really anything I can do about it, but what I think the problem is, you're just way too close to the junction box." Because these lines are designed to be transmitted over long distances, and you're just way too close to it. So it's like pushing an elephant through a garden hose.
Right.
So you're just not getting the data because you have the most expensive package that you can have that's not the fiber, and you're just way too close to that box.
You're too close, John.
I'm like,
you know what the solution is you got to move. You got to move apartments somewhere that's further away from the junction box. How are you going to expect to get internet when you're that close to the junction box? It's an elephant in a fire hose. What, are you going to push an elephant through a fire hose?
I'm like, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
Your metaphor is stupid, and so are you. Well, speaking of things that people are upset about, everybody sacrifice a chicken or do a dance, pray to your various deities, and let's hope that John has, by the time this podcast goes up, hopefully, you'll have your internet back. I don't understand living without the internet. That's just like crazy talk.
I've been reading a lot of comic books.
Yeah, I can see that.
And watching a lot of DVDs.
Okay.
Which luckily we bought a bunch of DVDs recently, so we have stuff to watch.
There you go. Well, something else that people are really mad about on the internet is apparently there's new Thundercats. And
Thundercats Roar.
Thundercats Roar. So, okay, John, let me, okay, well, you know what? Okay, let's start from the beginning. There's new Thundercats. And it looks like Adventure Time.
It looks like Steven Universe. It looks like Adventure Time.
Yes.
It looks like every
flash animated, goofy, weird kind of.
It looks like every other cartoon that's come out with it, and every other new cartoon, like
Teen Titans Go,
kind of Teen Titans Go, but also Gravity Falls and
Gumball,
Gumball or whatever it's called. Yeah, so it looks like the exact same animation as all.
It also appears to have
also
a comedy.
Comedic in focus instead of being serious focused.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are upset about that, and I'm like, whatever. It's a kid's cartoon. I don't care.
Okay, so I've gone all the way around the bend on this. At first, I've got so many different opinions about this because here's the thing. I think that there's a certain level of justification in the people's anger because is Thundercats really a thing that everybody's just been like, oh man, when are they going to bring back Thundercats? Oh man, when are they going to bring back Thundercats? Like,
well, they did once before.
I know. I watched 2 episodes of it. It was good, and I liked it. And I always meant to watch the rest of it, and then I never did.
Well, that's okay because Cartoon Network changed the night that it played on like every other week.
Yeah, so
no one got to watch it.
Okay, good.
And didn't advertise it at all.
Excellent.
So unless you were found like some thing talking about how good it was, you didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
So
I actually really liked that one, and I thought that was pretty cool. But, okay, so I'm going to make both the pro and con to this, because I feel both ways, and I feel no ways, and I feel all ways.
Yeah.
Like, okay, first off, this is a cartoon on Cartoon Network. I don't even have cable. I would never watch it.
Yeah.
It's also for children and babies and
it's
whatever.
It's not for me. It's clearly not designed for me.
Babies and children want to watch cartoon cats do internet memes and have Steven Universe adventures. Fucking who am I to say no? I'm not going to watch it anyway. I didn't barely watch the reboot. Whatever. So there's that, and that's like one argument. But then the other side of this coin is like, but you got stuff like Voltron and Castlevania on Netflix and the Godzilla. Like there is adult, like Rick and Morty is a kind of a wacky, like adult Like, it's a cartoon that's kind of targeted towards adults. I think Voltron probably skews a little bit younger, but like Castlevania is not a children's show.
Yeah.
It's mining your nostalgia in an animated format to go, hey, check out this cool thing. So there is a precedent out there for making animation for 30-year-olds to tap into their nostalgia boners for stuff. So you got to expect when you take somebody's old favorite cartoon show and then radically change it up that you're going to piss off people.
See, I think they should have done this with Silverhawks instead of Thundercats.
I think that would have worked much better. Silverhawks was
someone would have probably been pissed, but you know what? It's Silverhawks. Who cares?
Yeah, most people don't even really remember Silverhawks all that much. Yeah.
Also, I really like Silverhawks. So I would like to see some type of...
I do too.
It could be Silverhawks Skreonk or something. That's a Godzilla noise, I know, but Scree or Cry or...
Yeah. Silverhawks...
Cacaw. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah. Silverhawks Cacaw. Yeah. So I'm of two minds because one, and then there's a third part of me, John, which is that we started this podcast by me talking about like, I didn't even finish my list. Runner 3 came out this week. There's a demo for Zone of Enders 2.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, as of this recording, Dark Souls is coming out again. I got to have an excuse to play Dark Souls. Detroit Become Human. You got Agony coming out next week. Like, there's all sorts of games, as well as TV shows and movies and shit that I haven't even watched yet, like Deadpool and Solo. So, like, was I ever going to watch a new Thundercats show,
Probably
even if
not.
it was targeted towards me? Yes.
Probably not.
It becomes a lot easier when you realize that you have a very finite amount of time for your leisure, and it's okay to just be like, that Thundercats show looks stupid, and I was never going to watch it anyway.
And I'll even say this. For as stupid as I kind of agree that it kind of feels like the animation style, they're just going for what's popular.
Yeah.
Like they're these are the popular animation styles going on right now, so that's what we're going to do this show in, because the last one didn't get a lot of ratings because and that's the thing, is that the last one didn't get a lot of ratings. Now, like I said earlier, Cartoon Network changed the air date for it, the week it aired on every week, didn't announce it, didn't tell anyone, didn't promote the fucking show in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So you could say they're to blame for that, but from their point of view, when we did the super serious reboot of Thundercats, no one watched it. So let's do this crazy thing with Thundercats and see if it sticks.
It's marketing 101.
Yeah.
Is there marketing to the people that watch their channel?
And and there are some people that are like, I don't want this. This is stupid. They're dumbing it down. It's like, I don't know. It's like they're like, I don't want it to be like Stupid Steven Universe or Bravest Warriors or Adventure Time. I was like, I don't know. Have you actually watched those shows? Those fucking shows get dark.
Yeah.
Especially Steven Universe right now. It's fucking dark.
Can't and won't.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that shit gets dark sometimes.
Sure.
Like, it starts off all fun and games, but then slowly just gets darker and more depressing.
No, I have.
It's like easing children into depressing television.
I've had friends who were really into Adventure Time.
Yeah.
And have told me like all the stuff, the actual story behind Adventure Time, and then like, this and all the feels. The problem that I have with something like Adventure Time is that I just don't really like the way that it looks to begin with.
Yeah, I understand.
So it's almost like I have to get over watching a show that I think is ugly. Not ugly, but just it doesn't appeal to me at all.
And I get that.
In order to get to these parts. And Steven Universe is kind of the same way, where it's like, I'm not a really big fan of that particular style of animation.
And I feel like that is actually the only critique that I actually feel is valid.
Yeah.
If you don't like that animation, you can say, I don't like that animation, but here's the thing. It's not ruining your childhood, dude. It's not. You still have the original, which if anyone's gone back and watched the original cartoon
not as good
anytime
as you
soon,
not as good as you remember.
Not as good as you remember.
No.
Trust me. Mm-hmm. You still have the super serious remake that happened. Go rewatch that. It's
and then it's like just cuts off at the end of a second season, right?
Something like that. But it's like you still have that. If you don't like the animation style and you don't want to watch this, don't watch it. Here's the thing. If you want to, don't sit there and bitch on the internet, because here's the thing. This could be the show that gets some other kid, like, I really like Lion-O and Panthro and Chitara and all this, and then you go, hey, let me show you something that's Thundercats, but much cooler.
Sure.
And then suddenly you have someone that's like a kid, your son, daughter, child, nephew, cousin, whatever, that's now like, holy shit, this original cartoon's even better. My God.
Yeah.
Hey, you have someone that you can talk about how much you love the original stuff. But if you don't care, don't deprive them of this. Don't deprive other kids of this. But here's the thing: don't watch it, because if you don't watch it, and then let's say it doesn't catch on with kids because it looks like everything else, and kids don't really want to watch another Steven Universe or Adventure Time, or I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm saying if that's the case,
sure,
it won't get good ratings, and then it'll be off the air. And then you won't have to see some dude in a weird man bun talking about how he loves the original series, talking about how he's going to be respectful for it, but we're throwing the entire series out the window. Which I think that was the thing that bothered me the most. That dude had a man bun. The entire fucking behind-the-scenes video. He had a goddamn man bun.
Look, I'm old, all right? So I'm 40 years old. I realize that the world has moved past Jeff, right? I'm an old man, fossil, and that popular culture isn't for me. But when I looked at the production staff of the people making this, it was just like, it's all hipsters, man. It's just all hipsters making this fucking, like, it was just mustaches and sweaters and like,
But again, I go back to, if you're bitching about it, dude, calm down. Just don't watch it. It'll probably not do well, and it won't find an audience. And if it does find an audience, hey, at least Thundercats is finding an audience.
To me, it's
not ruining your childhood.
We got to move past this. But the last thing that I would at least like to say is that nothing has been taken away from you. Before the announcement of Thundercats Roar, there was no. It's not like they took the current beloved Thundercats show off the air a year ago, and now they're retooling it to be Thundercats Roar. Like last week, you weren't even thinking about Thundercats, or you were just like, I should watch Thundercats again.
This is not a spectacular Spider-Man situation.
Exactly. This is not a thing that has been taken away from you. It's just a new thing, and you don't like it. And in a lot of ways, I sympathize, but I actually have had to come to the point of being like, there's a lot of shit in this world that just ain't for me no more, because it's for younger people, and I'm not a young person anymore, and that's cool. I want to play old man Kratos, and all the kids want to play Fortnite, and I don't wish that Fortnite wasn't a thing, because I'm tired of you kids talking about Fortnite all the time. It's just I don't talk to people about Fortnite, and then I don't have to. It's the way that nobody will talk to me about Dark Souls anymore, except for John, who I lock in this room once a week until we're done recording Patreon videos.
That's true.
Speaking of things that people are not tired of, this is a clumsy transition, but I'm going to go with it. Battlefield 5 had a teaser earlier this week.
Battlefield V.
Yeah, and now an official. Well, this is on the Battlefield channel, and it says 5, but then the icon is a big V. So make up your goddamn mind. Okay, we had a full-on trailer, and a bunch of release info for this.
Technically, V is the Roman numeral for 5. So
yes. What do you think? This trailer kind of makes me sleepy.
The trailer they showed for it, which is like characters just doing just a bunch of characters doing shit.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on.
There's just
characters are shooting at things. Like there's one portion of it that suddenly becomes like first person.
Yeah.
Because like for most of it at the very beginning, it's all like a camera like following people, and then it becomes first person, and the guy's just randomly shooting at shit. And like he just starts shooting, and suddenly a plane comes down.
Yep.
Like the plane was not anywhere in front of his gun when he started shooting.
Also, there's a part where a Jeep just falls on a guy from out of the air.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where did the Jeep come from? But
yeah. Like or he like runs up and starts running down a battlefield and just starts shooting, and I'm like, what is he shooting at? Because his gun is pointed at his.
Okay, before the comments come in, I will say that the people that he is shooting at do have the red pips over their head,
okay,
and that there are other people that have like blue pips, so he doesn't shoot at these guys with the blue pips, but.
Okay, it's just like I just don't know what I'm looking at. Is my problem?
It's kind of one of those things where. Like I've never actually seen or played Battlefield that looked like this.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like last week when we looked at that Black Ops 4 trailer and how it was like they always have that big multiplayer trailer. Now, see, this is the part that I don't understand that was in the teaser, where the guy is choking out the camera character, and like puts his finger up to his lips, and is like shh, and then like gets hit by another person. That's obviously, even though they've got a map and stuff up, okay, look, there's only two possibilities here. One, this is a Killzone shit, this ain't actual gameplay. Or two, there's a melee kill in the game that makes you get up in the other player's face and go shh before you kill them.
I think this is an actual gameplay. I don't think this is gameplay.
I don't think it is either. I think it may be in the engine. I think it's actually in the Frostbite engine because Frostbite does look this good.
Yeah.
But I think that this is either incredibly scripted
it's totally a scripted event.
But it appears, even though, like, we're here at the end where the lady comes in with a cricket bat and hits him, and, like, okay, I don't know if this is just something from Battlefield 1, and I'm sure that somebody out there, okay, I'm going to say this and then make the explanation afterwards. This lady here, I don't have a problem with the lady being in the game, whatever, and she doesn't have an arm, and I don't have a problem with that either. But, like, she's got, like, this blue paint under her eyes, and she's wearing, like, a trench coat with a bunch of ropes on it. She's wearing a cricket bat. She looks like she's from the zombie apocalypse, like, just by herself. Like, now there's jeeps and planes and stuff and guns that I recognize from World War II around here, but the characters are all so weird looking. Like, I'm so used to that Call of Duty World War II where the characters, you know, they're wearing, like, uniforms, not just a bunch of, like, whatever, just things. Like, you know, leather jacket with an eagle on the back and a helmet, and, like, they're all just dressed in the most, like, whatever. But I think that actually ties into part of this, which is that the game is apparently not going to have a season pass and also not going to have loot boxes.
Yeah.
Apparently it's going to have heavy-duty cosmetic microtransactions a la Overwatch to fund all of the expansions down the line. And then also there was...
But no loot boxes for that, though. So.
What's that?
But no loot boxes.
Yeah. But then part of this is also that they announced that there's going to be, what is it called? Is a 4-player PvE mode called Combined Arms, which it's like 4 people fighting against the computer. I don't think that's what was in the trailer because there were other players there, or what seemed like other people there. Maybe. The actual characters from the trailer seem like there's a still image here of them. And that's obviously, I think, probably the customization stuff is what you're seeing is exactly what I was just saying with the kind of wacky outfits. Apparently, the single-player war stories from Battlefield 1 are going to be coming back. So there's going to be individual micro campaigns to kind of go throughout the war. And then they're going to be bringing back the... What's it called? It's called... Operations, but now it's called Grand Operations. It's going to be basically a series of multiplayer matches, which each individual match could take up to an hour, and then they like feed into each other. I think they did this in Battlefield 1, where it's like there was a connected series of maps, and if like one team won, then you would go this way. If another team won, then you would go this way. And they were all, I think that this is the right one. They were all objective-based maps instead of just like what do they call the regular Battlefield, where it's it's like headquarters or whatever when you're building up you keep
You're
the
talking
points.
to someone who's never really played a Battlefield game.
Okay, great. Also, you're going to be able to create your own company that has like specific livery and stuff. It seems like there's a lot going on here. I have to say that you can rebuild, like, you know how buildings get knocked down in Battlefield. Apparently you can walk up to them and you can do like a quick rebuild into like a static fortification. Like, you can't rebuild the building, but you can build into like sandbags to make cover in an area. It all seems pretty cool. I guess I didn't care for Battlefield. Battlefield's been going in a direction that I haven't been interested in for a while now. Battlefield 1 was frustrating, in a word. Also, I know that Call of Duty did real good last year when they brought back World War II, but like I'm still not interested in World War II. The video game industry really, really burned me out on that in that, early 2000s, just Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, fucking take your pick, it's all World War II. I don't know. Is anything here that appeals to you? No.
I mean, Battlefield has never been my forte, and even Call of Duty kind of seems to not be my forte, so. Yeah.
It does. They haven't ruled out the idea of a Battle Royale expansion or a Battle Royale mode in the game, which Battlefield would seem like the easiest transition because they already have very large maps and vehicles and stuff like that. I think that could be really interesting, though, if they have a single-player mode, a PvE co-op mode, the standard Battlefield multiplayer, and a Battle Royale mode. Hey, that could be a real big, and it's all in World War II, which people fucking love. Call of Duty's going back to that sci-fi bullshit. Maybe people are like, nah, I think I want to stick with World War II. I know what the guns are. I know what the Jeeps are and blah, 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 blah. So, I don't know. Could be interesting. I wonder, I don't know if Jason ever really got into Battlefield 1. Jason used to play Battlefield all the time, but I don't know. Battlefield 1 was just so goddamn brutal. But yeah, that's not the only news. We're not going to have loot boxes. It is going to be microtransaction based. There are a couple of other things. So, of course, people were upset on the internet about there being both a lady and a lady with one arm in there, and somebody tweeted at one of the devs, Battlefield has abandoned historical accuracy for political correctness, and then the person said, we will always put fun over authentic, with a nice animated gif of Battlefield 1 with like a guy on a horse with a guy standing on the back of the horse with a flamethrower and a heavy machine gun guy all just like piled on top of a horse, which, good on you, Battlefield. This kind of shit like that is why I like Battlefield.
Yeah.
I really liked the horses in Battlefield 1 where you could it was like, wait, you can only use a sword when you're on the horse? And it's like, no, that's all you need, man. And then also, it's briefly worth noting that apparently Microsoft is going to be the big partner for this because I think it's at the end of the trailer, at the end of the Battlefield 1 trailer, you get the kind of games play best on Xbox One, the kind of Xbox branding, which somebody recently pointed out that, obviously this is going to be coming to PlayStation 4 and the PC as well, but that like apparently that branding, like there's a lot of people out in the world who just assume if they see PlayStation at the end of a commercial that it's a PlayStation game. Yeah. That you can't get it on the other console.
And it could be interesting if this would be, actually, no, I take that back. Never mind. I was going to say interesting if there was some type of crossplay, but then I was like, no, because PC and console controller would never work. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I really feel like the Xbox needs something. Having played State of Decay 2 this week, I'm just like, come on, Microsoft. Here's the funny thing. Fucking want them to put shit out at E3.
Here's the funny thing.
Yeah.
You know me. Yeah. I like Xbox.
Yeah.
My Xbox Live subscription, gold subscription expired like 3 months ago. I haven't renewed it. I only turned on my Xbox for the first time in a month and a half due to wanting to
check
watch
and see if the internet was working, right?
Well, no, I wanted to watch something and I didn't feel like turning on my PS4, which already had a disc in the tray. So that was like the pure form of laziness. Like, I know there's a disc in that tray. I don't want to take it out and like put a different disc in. So I'm going to turn my Xbox on to put a disc in and watch something.
Jeez Louise, John.
But yeah,
they need games.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Fucking games.
They this year they need to fucking pull out all the fucking stops.
Yeah.
Though we've been saying that for like what, the last 2 years?
Yeah. But
they kind of like one of those years they seemed like they were, but then it turned out they didn't.
Well, it feels like, not to go off on this normal tangent that we always go off on, but like it feels like they've been focusing on the Xbox One X really hard. Yeah. And it's like, listen, State of Decay is like a $40, it's like a $35 game new.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly like, I watched some video of it playing on the Xbox One, better frame rate, slightly better resolution. It's not exactly night and day. Like it's okay looking. Like it's better looking than it is on my Xbox One launch Xbox One. Yeah. But, nothing in Sea of Thieves or State of Decay was really just like, what? Like blowing you away. Whereas what Detroit is a exclusive PS4 exclusive.
Yeah. No, Quantic Dream has always been,
and
with the exception of Indigo Prophecy, since Heavy Rain,
right? And while it's not the best game, it is unexclusive. It is like the State of Decay 2 is I think the second console exclusive this year for Microsoft,
and the third one doesn't have a release date because they keep pushing it back because every time they show it to the public, everyone goes, "This looks like garbage."
Crackdown.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's weird because I turned my Xbox on for State of Decay, and I was like, oh, right, I bought that $10 a month Xbox Microsoft Pass. So like I have State of Decay. I could just download it and I can play it. That's cool. Like I didn't pay any money. That's fine. That makes it a lot more interesting to play this.
Well, you paid money. All that money you paid when you weren't using.
Yeah, that's true. Like 6 to 8 months worth of $10 a month.
You paid for it.
I paid for it. But anyway, so good job, Microsoft. Please announce something at E3. I really don't want you guys to just fall into a firewall. Like somebody, do I have to say you need a reason for me to buy your 4K console, right? You need like a game that looks really good that I can only play on your console that maybe I can't play on a Windows 10 PC. Just saying. Anyway.
Well, that ain't ever going to happen.
That's
unfortunately.
True. Speaking of multiplayer games, we got some Overwatch. Overwatch is in their 2nd anniversary, and I would just like to take 5 minutes to say, fucking God, how much I love Overwatch for the 100th time.
I really wish I could play it.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to. It went live and can't play it at all.
If you don't have it, it'll probably be $20 off. It'll be $40 on the PC or on the consoles, and I think less on the PC. And if you buy it now, you get a bunch of skins. You get all of the old like Founder Origin skins, and then you get some legendary skins. And there's a new multiplayer map. There's actually a bunch of other new skins. Like I really like this Doomfist with the suit on. I
fucking love McCree's anniversary skin.
Which one is it?
He's dressed like Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah. Yep. I gotta say,
not too big of a fan of the pirate.
Pirate Lucio?
No, pirate.
Torbjorn? Junkrat.
Junkrat. Yeah,
Junkrat. Yeah. Sorry, everybody's had a pirate skin. Okay, so I just gotta say that. Like, I paid $60 for Overwatch 2 years ago, and Overwatch has not stopped delivering content to their game.
I agree.
New heroes, new maps. There's a new map called Petra that's kind of like temple in the carved out of the rock face, kind of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Apparently, people are already finding little secrets hidden in the levels.
Yep.
That are maybe alluding to more, at least at the very least, more world building stuff.
Oh, cool.
That could also be leading towards a new character, but no one knows for sure.
Okay. I've really, really, really enjoyed all of my time with Overwatch. I've enjoyed all of the lore. I've enjoyed the game, and I think that it's worth saying because it's a $60 game that I'm still playing 2 years down the road.
Yeah,
like that puts Overwatch in the realm of like Bloodborne or Hitman or the games that I won't shut the fuck up about. Metal Gear, I'm not playing 2 years down the road. Like I'm still playing Hitman when they put anything out for it, which I think I'm not sure. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. But like they just released that dumb edition that had like the Mini Ninjas and Kane Lynch Freedom Fighters skins with the distribution deal. I think you have to buy the actual like legendary edition physical to get those skins, because I keep logging in and being like, where are my skins?
I think so. I think you do have to buy it.
Anyway, Overwatch is great. These are all good updates, and I think like this is going on until, do you know when it ends?
I don't know.
It's like 3 weeks this month, which and then we just got out of the month. What was last month? It was was it the last month or the month before where it was the Blackwatch PvE,
which I didn't get to play any of that either.
Damn. Yeah, so go play Overwatch. And if you need more reasons, you can always watch the short films that they have, including a new one. Unfortunately, it's not a new actual story one. It's just a little like fun little stop animated thing called Trace and Bake, where it's a little stop animated Tracer figure making a cake. It's pretty cool, kind of robot chickeny.
Well, those are definitely custom action figures.
Yeah,
because
John would own them.
No, I know people who would own them.
It's pretty cool. This little short. It obviously took them quite a while. I kind of wish that we could get another. When was the last? Was the Reinhardt the last?
I think the Reinhardt one.
Wait, was there one after Reinhardt?
I don't think
so. Moira? No, okay, I don't think so.
I mean, there was some there was the Doomfist animated one that was like cartoon animation, but I think that was before the Reinhardt one.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm just a real big fan. I'm a real big fan of it.
Yeah, no, I love Overwatch. Overwatch is great.
Was May the last one? Was May after Reinhardt?
No, I thought Reinhardt's thing was after.
Honor and Glory. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. Moving on, in more multiplayer news, Treyarch came out this week and basically said that they wanted to clarify that Black Ops 4 never had a single-player campaign. That it wasn't. They started working on it and it was scrapped. That it was from the ground up, built with no single-player campaign. So take that, people who don't like Black Ops.
Yeah, I don't.
4.
I mean, were people bitching that why did you remove the single player? And they like
John, this is the internet.
I think it's more my personal thing is that I think if someone did say why did you remove the single player from Black Ops 4, they're not saying why did you start working on a single player campaign and then remove it. They're saying why is there no single player campaign in Black Ops 4 when all the previous Black Ops have had a single player campaign?
So I think that a lot of this stems from the fact that when Black Ops 4 was rumored before it came out, that there was the rumor that it had a campaign. That campaign could not be completed by the October release date, so they decided to scrap it and work on Battle Royale instead because that was something they could turn around really quickly. That was a rumor that we talked about on this podcast.
I don't remember.
So
I don't even remember what we talked about last week. So,
so I can understand why people would think that. I would think though that Call of Duty's I didn't think about it for 10 seconds, but now that I've thought about it for 10 seconds, Call of Duty single-player campaigns are so freaking involved, and they usually have like some celebrities and some celebrity voice acting and shit. Like if they had gotten a bunch of celebrities in to do voices for the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 campaign, they would not have scrapped it. They would have pushed the release date, or they would have bought 4 more studios to do the work to finish it. Like they would not have just thrown away work if they'd already started on it.
No, I agree.
So or not like. I get the feeling they may have been roughing out a campaign and then decided, nah, you know what, I'm not feeling it. Let's just do Battle Royale instead. Like, we see which way the wind is blowing. Let's just go ahead. Let's try it this year. This campaign, Black Ops 3 didn't have a super strong campaign. This thing that we're writing seems a little convoluted. We haven't even gone into very much production for it. Let's just scrap that and go with it.
All right.
So that's Black Ops 4, which a lot of people are excited to play. But I tell you what, you should tamp down your expectations if you own a fucking Nintendo Switch, because apparently it's not coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, no, of course not. There hasn't been a Call of Duty game on a Nintendo console since the Wii.
Yeah, but this might be Doom, they ported Doom over, not
Activision.
Yeah, that's true. But the Switch at least has shown that it can handle a dumbed down version of your game. So when you consider that the Switch, it actually kind of would be perfect if you could get it to the kind of whole ad hoc multiplayer with multiple Switches, and then everybody has a controller with split screen, right? And you'd have to dumb down the controls a little bit, but I think you could do it. I think you make a Switch version, but no, apparently that's not in the cards.
No, I didn't expect it. I also don't expect Battlefield to be on the Switch.
Well, I'll tell you what else I didn't expect to be on the Switch that apparently is going to be on the Switch, and that is Resident Evil 7.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
This is very strange. This is very, very strange. Resident Evil 7 is coming to the Switch in what is, quote, the cloud version. Now, as far as I can tell, I think this is just in Japan.
Yeah,
I've
heard that this is just in Japan.
But, so, okay, you, gentle listener, may be asking yourself, but Jeff, the Nintendo Switch does not have the power to render such a graphically gorgeous game as Resident Evil 7. How will Resident Evil 7 run on the Nintendo Switch? To which I would say, that's a great question, and the answer is in the name. It's called the cloud version because it's essentially a PlayStation View / Gaikai streaming thing where a server is streaming you a high-res video of what's happening, and then your control inputs are being sent back to that server.
It's kind of like, oh, God, what the hell was it called that I actually had a subscription to for a long time? No, Gaikai.
Oh. OnLive.
OnLive, thank you.
Gaikai was the thing that the Sony bought for PS View. So I think that that's a really interesting concept, the idea of having all of your rendering be done off site, because it means that something like the Switch could play Resident Evil 7 and it could look amazing.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
The only problem is that you have to have the lowest latency ever in order to be able to do that, because if there's a delay, if I press left on that's the reason I can't play it, is if I press left on the stick, and even if there's just like a little bit of a delay before it happens on the screen, it makes everything feel
I'll be honest,
swimmy.
back when I had on live, it worked pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really feel like if there was, it was so minuscule I didn't even notice it.
Mm-hmm.
And I played games like Unreal and
Did they put out Red Faction on there?
I think it probably. I know that Homefront was the big one because there was like on their site they were like, if you buy Homefront through OnLive, we'll give you for free the OnLive little
the streaming box,
the box that you can hook to your TV and a controller. So of course I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna buy I'll buy Homefront on that. That's a steal.
Right.
And then sign up for the service, and I played it for a long time, and then the service went away and out of business. And it I think it's an my problem with OnLive was that it was an interesting service, and I felt it worked really well.
Yeah.
But that's because I also am the type of person that will pay for the highest internet available at the time and things like that. And I realized not everyone. It was a service that was way ahead of its time.
Yeah,
like a little bit too ahead of its time.
Plus, everybody knows internet infrastructure in the United States kind of sucks nuts anyway.
Oh, it does. It does. Which I've been hoping that maybe sometime near in the future we might be getting to a point where that may be something that's feasible.
Yeah. Well, I think if we had fiber backbone, I feel like it'd be way more feasible.
Yeah.
Maybe not 100%. But the other interesting thing about this is that apparently there's going to be a demo in Japan, which I have a Japanese Switch account. I might try this out, even though if it doesn't work very well, if they're Japanese servers, I can't blame the fact that I'm trying to play a Japanese streaming game from here to Japan and back in microseconds.
It also could maybe block you, but based on IP.
It's possible, yeah. Apparently, you can get 15 minutes of the game at no cost to check it out. But then the other interesting thing is that they're not actually selling the game. It's $18 or 2,000 yen for a ticket for 180 days to play the game. And it's the game and all the DLC, and you'll get full access to it over this service for that. So part of me, I haven't seen one of these streaming services that works well enough that I would actually consider using. And I actually have a PlayStation. Is it View or is View the TV one? I keep saying View. Now
it's PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now, the streaming one
subscription, and I never use it because I think that there's just a little bit too much input lag, and it just doesn't feel right for me. However, if they could get it to work, like the idea of being able to play games on the Switch that technically the Switch hardware is unable to run through this sort of streaming service is very interesting, because it means, probably not Fortnite, probably not Call of Duty, but it means that it gives the Switch even more possibility for higher res things.
Here's the one thing that I do run into a problem with that software or that type of service is that I haven't seen any of them been able to implement multiplayer. Usually the multiplayer in the game is turned off because that's too much.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're ever going to get Call of Duty on something like this.
I'm thinking more along the lines of just, it would be a way for the Nintendo Switch to be able to graphically have games that have a higher resolution and more detail than what the actual Switch hardware is able
I agree.
to run.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, that's if there's one limitation of this cloud gaming type services is that they can't really do multiplayer at the moment.
Speaking of Nintendo, if you want a Nintendo Switch, but say you don't have all of the money for a Nintendo Switch, well, in Japan, they're going to start selling dock-free Switches. So this is going to be a version of the Nintendo Switch that comes without the HDMI cable, without the dock, and without a power cord. So technically,
it did come with a power cord or some type of USB cable.
Not this one. This is like old school. It specifically says no because it's
I must have read the wrong thing then.
Apparently it's being marketed as like, hey, do you already have a Switch, and then do you want a second one to like put into that dock and have two Switches that because if you bought it, it's like $230, but if you were to buy the dock and the cable and stuff separately, that would be like $90, so it would technically be more expensive than just buying the $300 Switch bundle. But I don't know, if you have if you want to have a multi-Switch household, John, sometimes you tell me that you and Amanda have to, or that you ever run into a thing where you both want to be playing a Switch game at the same time?
No.
No?
I mean, but also it's kind of one of those things that when I'm playing a Switch game, Amanda's usually doing something else, or like if she's like, I want to play the Switch, and I'm like, okay, I'll play a game on the PS4.
Okay.
Like, because we have all the consoles.
Yeah.
And we have a plethora of games that we all can play.
Yes.
That we both can play. So it's like if we're both in the mood to play a video game, but we don't want to play the same game, it's very easy with the Switch for one of us to have the Switch in their hands, be playing it in the chair while the other one's playing something on the TV.
Okay.
So it's...
Fair enough. Well, if you want to have something in your hands while you're watching TV, it's possible that even though the PlayStation Vita or the physical games on Vita has been discontinued, we got a statement from, let's see, John Cadera, the new chief of Sony Interactive Entertainment, saying some interesting things. He said, quote, in my opinion, rather than separating portable gaming from consoles, it's necessary to continue thinking of portable gaming as one method to deliver more gaming experiences and exploring what our customers want from portable. We want to think about many options. So, I don't know. Maybe that means, I don't think that PlayStation would ever try to pull a direct Nintendo like Switch competitor.
No.
But I wonder, like, if there's a market. Tell me this, John. Would you ever consider buying if they made something that was like a PlayStation Vita, but it was just for streaming games from your PS4 to over your home Wi-Fi to a handheld device?
Never.
No?
No.
Really?
I have if I'm buying a portable device of any kind, I want to be able to take that in my house.
Okay.
I want to be able to play the games on it without having to stream it over a network.
Interesting.
That's kind of the thing. If I don't want a Wii U situation where I have a pad with where I play the games on, and I still have to be somehow connected to that or tethered to that console by network or whatever.
See, I would be interested in that if it was cheap enough and if it worked. The problem with the Wii U was that I couldn't leave the room that the Wii U was in, or else it would desynchronize.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just saying, I just that's kind of.
And with the Vita, I felt like if they just the main problem was that, you could stream the PS4 streaming worked fairly well with the Vita, except the Vita didn't have the second, shoulder button, and most games on the PlayStation 4 take those shoulder buttons. Even I was like, oh, hey, Persona 5, I can totally stream that. It's like, no, there's like modifier buttons on the shoulders that you're going to need, and they map them onto that dumb touchpad on the back, and that's just no good for anybody. So I don't know. That'd be interesting to see.
For me, like I said, I just have no desire for that. But like I said, well,
let me put it this way. What would you want out of, let's say that Sony announced that they were going to make a Vita 2 or a PSP next, right? Like, what would you want out of that?
I hate to say it, but what I wanted out of the PSP and the Vita is exactly what the Switch is.
Yeah.
So literally I would just want that, but for PlayStation.
Okay.
Like that's literally all I want. I want something that can play.
Okay, would you consider buying like something that was a Switch but for PlayStation, where you could play like PlayStation?
Yeah,
games?
as long as it wasn't ungodly overpriced like the Vita was when it first came out.
Oh, that's true. Very true. I mean, if it had a back catalog, I think that there's actually a lot of interesting possibilities if you had something that was able to play PS3 and PS2 games. Like if I had a handheld that could just had all the control inputs and could just play PS2 and PS3 games.
Yeah, no, I would totally be like, yes, people can develop games for it, but that's not really what we're interested in.
Yeah.
It'll connect to your PSN account. If you bought any games digitally for PS3 or PS2 or even PS1 classics, it's all playable on this.
Yeah,
like you have access to all of it. I would actually consider buying it at that point. Like even if they said we are actually telling companies to not make new games for this handheld device, and it's strictly for playing,
retro games
that you can buy through the PSN store. I would actually still consider buying it.
There's a lot of games that fall into that category.
Yeah, so I mean, I would totally do that. So,
okay, well there you go. That's my Kobayashi Murphy. Is I just like, what about this portable? Speaking of Sony, there's some strange announcements that it's possible that the Sony. Let's see. John Cadera, CEO of Sony, said that they may be looking at the final phase of the life cycle of the PS4 within the next 2 to 3 years, which is a little. I mean, like that makes sense considering. Well, no, that would still make it an 8-year life cycle instead of a 10-year life cycle, and that kind of blows because I kind of feel like the PS4 right now is hitting its stride like big time hardcore. Yeah. But I don't know. Ready to buy new consoles in 2021, John?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe by 2021, sure, but right now, no.
Yeah.
If they were to come out and go, hey, remember how we said we're only going to talk about these 4 games at E3?
Yeah.
Fooled you, PS5.
Right.
You know, like, we're showing it off and it's coming out next year. I'd be like, yeah, no. Fuck you.
Well,
fuck you, Sony.
It brings up an interesting thing is that, like, I feel like the entire gaming industry, you know, the PS4 and the Xbox One X and stuff, have all been pushing 4K really hard.
Yeah.
But I don't think that 4K adoption is really that high.
Yeah.
And it starts to become a thing where, like, the internet infrastructure that we have doesn't even stream 4K video very well. So if you had like, that Battlefield 5 trailer was very, very good looking, but that's not much more good looking than a good game looks on these current consoles. And so you have to start asking yourself, what is it aside from graphical fidelity that you could offer in a next generation console? Like Nintendo did a good job of being like, here's something that's different. Here's a thing that you've never had before. So the real question would be like, well, then what does that mean? What does the PS5 look like? Is it a VR headset? Because if it's just another box that's more graphically has higher graphical fidelity and more RAM and a better CPU than the PS4, like, well, I mean, okay, kinda, but is there really? I don't know. I don't feel like I'm playing PS4 games and going like, these graphics suck. Like, I'm like, oh wow, this looks really good.
Yeah, no, I feel like this is kind of a weird thing where if you had told me I said this 4 years ago,
yeah,
I would have said that you're a fucking liar. But I feel like because we're getting to the point where the graphics on the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro or whatever and everything looks so good, and the graphics are so good at this point.
Yeah.
That I don't really like. We're starting to get into that point of graphics don't mean shit because
everything looks really good.
Yeah, everything looks really good.
It's either stylized or it's like Frostbite or Unreal.
Yeah, it's either so realistic that it's gonna be hard to. You're getting into Uncanny Valley territory.
Yep.
That is going to be a hard push to get past, and I feel like the only way to push past is like 3 generations of consoles away. You know, like I feel like the next couple of generations of consoles aren't going to be that big of a graphical leap outside of being able to do bigger worlds.
Yeah. But even that starts to become a thing where it's like, do you want the world's biggest world that's full of all kinds of shit?
Yeah. But it's like, I feel like Nintendo's kind of got the right idea when they're going, well, we could see that graphics are kind of reaching a point. Let's see what else we can do with a console to make it interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I
feel like maybe Nintendo's kind of got the right idea because,
Hey, you know what? I was thinking about this the other day where I was looking at, there's a guy online, one of my secret YouTubes called MXR Mods that just looks at like mods for Skyrim and Fallout.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ones that he looks at are very like, there's a lot of like weird lady skimpy outfit mods.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that. But he looks at he'll do a weekly thing where he looks at a bunch of mods. He has a very good computer that can run like Fallout 4 at 4K in ultra settings, and then you get these mods to make it look even better than that. And I look at them and I'm just like, okay, that looks better than Fallout 4 looks on my TV, but it's still Fallout 4. Like the reason that I'm not playing Fallout 4 right now is not because it doesn't look good. I'm not playing any game. I am not playing any game because I'm just like, well, I'd love to play that new Detroit Become Human, but those faces just look bad and I don't want any part of it. Like, okay, Mass Effect Andromeda, maybe a little bit that, but usually graphical, like you can get away with not having the world's best graphics if the story is good. The year that Saints Row 4 came out, it didn't exactly have the best graphics in the world. But
I'll even argue something that somebody brought up in talking about Detroit Become Human.
Yeah,
where, the game looks really, really good, and that it's graphically it looks the best any game has ever really looked. But Life is Strange has shit graphics compared to that game, and that game has a way better story.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what the first sentence of the thing. But this game has shit graphics and has a better storytelling.
Yep.
Like it's actually competent story that feels like you're playing something good, and not a David Cage game.
Right. There we go.
Yeah.
Get some digs in it, Cage.
Yeah, you've been caged. No, but no. So graphics don't mean as much anymore. As I feel like they are important.
They mean something.
They do mean something. Like it's not like they're unimportant. And I don't want people to be like, John, graphics are very important. Yes, they are important, but not for every game.
But you look at you look at the graphical fidelity jump from the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3, or the Xbox to the Xbox 360, right?
Yeah.
And the leap from mostly SD gaming to HD gaming brought a pretty big fidelity leap. And then the leap from the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 generation to the PS4, Xbox One, I felt like was really jumping into, like, we went to HD and then we're kind of trying to figure out how to make HD look good. And now it's like we've done that. So now we're giving you all the power you need to make anything look good and then some extra to make other things good as well. And I have to wonder, okay, I'm not saying that it can't exist. I'm saying that I have not seen a thing, whether it's a PC Master Race or whatever, where CPU processing power has made a game look so much more amazing that I'd be willing to upgrade my computer or buy a new console. Right? There were days when that happened. When you're going from 640 by 480 and you buy a new video card, now you're at 1024 by 768. You're just like, oh, wow, this is so much better.
Yeah, no, totally.
You know, but like, I have not seen anything on the most awesome PC Master Race PC that makes me look at that and go, that looks so much better than my console that I must get a 4K TV, that I must upgrade to this. So,
no, I agree.
Anyway, we're now behind, so we're a little bit faster. No, it's all right. It's all right. I kind of knew this was going to happen, so
always does.
I'm not going to. I'm never going to stop talking about it, John.
Oh, go ahead.
No Man's Sky is, so if you have a PlayStation 4 and you need something to play on it, hey, No Man's Sky is getting that No Man's Sky next update in July with actual multiplayer.
Not only that, if you have an Xbox One, you can buy No Man's Sky.
Yes. Oh, that's true.
Because that's what this update is for.
Yep.
It's for the Xbox One release of No Man's Sky. Ow, I just hit the microphone stand.
Don't do that. They hurt. So yeah, again, I don't know if I keep playing those updates and No Man's Sky is still kind of like, not really just for Jeff, but I have to appreciate that, like, a year and change down the line from the release of No Man's Sky, that Hello Games is
almost 2 years, if not more.
Is continuing to put work in and essentially adding features to the game. It's almost like that Sean Murray that was interviewed on all those shows was from the future.
Yeah.
Like, he had actual Sean Murray tied up in a closet going like, no, it's not going to launch with multiplayer. And he's like, oh yeah, it'll have multiplayer. Like, it'll be vehicles. You'll have factions in the sky. And like, actual Sean Murray's just like, you fool, it's 2 years away. And he's like, and it's all going to launch in October. He's like, ah! And then he at the end of the press junket, he unties past Sean Murray and he's like, Sean, just listen. It's going to be rough for a while, but eventually it will have all of that.
No, and here's what I'm actually wondering, because again, it's coming out on Xbox One now, and I'm wondering if there's going to be someone who buys it. Like, I heard about this game, I'm going to play it. Pops it on their Xbox One. Man, why do people hate this game? This game's awesome. This game's great. Yep. This game has met every promise of every interview that I ever saw from that Sean Murray guy. Like, this is the fucking best game I've ever played.
I'll tell you the one thing left that I feel like they need to do to make me interested in this is that there needs to be like factions of hostile aliens on the ground, because it's still the only thing that you attack on the ground are those the little secret orbs that when you try to fuck with the environment, they come in and they're just like, no, when you're
like the animal things?
Some of the animals will attack you, but that's, I don't know, you just like fucking run away from them.
Like
whatever.
Robot things?
Those are the same things as they escalate.
They look like cats or whatever?
Yeah. They escalate from the little probes to, I think, the cats, and then there's like striders and stuff. But but still, again, I just like to make this known. Whether this is, I'm not trying to tell you that No Man's Sky is now suddenly a good game. What I'm trying to say is that this is pretty amazing that this dev, like, it's not a paid upgrade. They got the money from when people bought No Man's Sky, and then they've spent the last year and a half continuing to put more features into it, and they haven't asked you to rebuy the game. They haven't re-released it in a...
The only people that had to rebuy the game is the people who paid for it and then asked for a refund and got the refund.
True. Yeah. So I say, hey, you know what? Sean Murray may be a lying douchebag, but apparently he felt bad enough that he's willing to spend several years of his life trying to make good, which is more than a lot of other developers will do.
Yeah.
It's more than Rocksteady did with Arkham Knight on the PC, right?
Hell, it's more than a fucking Battlefield 2 or Battlefront 2.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Star Wars, Battlefront 2. It's like they kind of have already abandoned that.
Yep. So, from there, we got some trailers. Or no, first, I had my transitions all set up this week, and then I just fucked it all up.
Yeah, you did.
So, if you don't want to wait for multiplayer, you can be playing Fortnite multiplayer right now. And let's say you need money to buy that PlayStation 5. Epic Games is putting up $100 million into the esports for Fortnite esports, which I don't know is even it doesn't sound like a very good thing to me. I don't know if I want to watch other people play Fortnite.
Yeah.
Because at the end game of Fortnite just becomes a bunch of people twirling around in a circle building towers, and I'm like, ew, gross. But yeah, apparently $100 million between 2018 and 2019 for competitive esports Fortnite. I shouldn't be surprised because that's everything now, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Fortnite, we had a trailer. There's Jetpack. Fortnite's got a jetpack. You fly on a jetpack in Fortnite.
Yeah.
I really want to like Fortnite, John, but I don't really like Fortnite. So
yeah, I haven't actually played the PC version of Fortnite, but I did play the tablet version of Fortnite.
Oh yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah.
I uninstalled it immediately because
and I burned my tablet.
And yeah, no, it was actually pretty for being a tablet game. It was actually pretty competent.
Yeah,
I was actually like, I feel like I'm actually playing this game. This is amazing.
I mean,
but then I was just like, this. I played the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet mode or whatever, and I was like, not for me.
Yeah, I don't think this game is for me either, even though it really looks like it should be. But hey, maybe you're not into Fortnite. Maybe you prefer the original. Maybe you're into PUBG. Well, good news for you if you're into it on the PlayStation or the Xbox One X, because the desert map is coming to the Xbox One X. And they have a little trailer for it using the Tumbling Tumbleweed song that I cannot not associate with the Big Lebowski, which makes it a little strange.
Hey, that's just your opinion, man.
It is. Is anybody still playing PUBG? Probably, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah, they haven't all gone over to Radical Heights yet? Oh, no, wait a minute. Oh, too soon.
Too soon indeed.
Too soon. Too soon for Radical Heights trailers, but it's not too soon to talk about more Dark Souls. This Dark Souls Remastered launch trailer. This is a shitty trailer, John.
If you say so.
It's a real bad trailer. Well, no, I'm telling you, you watched it. I don't understand why. I feel like we had another trailer that was a week or 2 weeks ago that was like this. I can't understand. I even know the dialogue that they're porting in over the gameplay footage. It's mixed so far.
Oh yeah, no,
down
it's terribly mixed
that I can't understand.
Yeah, it's the dialogue is so muted.
Yeah,
that it's just what are they fucking saying? I don't even.
Yeah, I don't know if From Software or Bandai Namco have started with a new team to make these trailers, but the Bloodborne the Old Hunters trailer, I will just watch that because I think it's that good just to watch. This, I don't know. I mean, you're showing off the new version of this that already is under a lot of flack for a lot of different things, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could have added a little bit. It's almost like this is too fan servicey, where they're just look, it's Pinwheel, look, it's Artorias, look, it's Priscilla, and there's the Gaping Dragon, and it's yeah, I already know all that's in the game. Maybe do something that just has a little bit more soul to it than here's all the bosses, and here's the voiceover of the various people saying here's the crestfallen warrior. Look, you're lighting the Lord Vessel. I don't know. I'm still going to play it.
Of course.
But
I would expect nothing less, Jeff.
I'm going to play it. Don't worry. I'm going to play it. So that's what I'm going to play. John, though, on the other hand, is going to be playing Valkyria Chronicles 4. We got a new Squad E reporting for duty trailer.
And it's in English.
Yep.
So we get to see the English voice actors and hear the English voice actors and get a trailer for it. And it looks like more Valkyria Chronicles, which I couldn't be more happy.
Yeah, that was the thing that kind of was interesting to me. And looking at it, I'm just like, oh, this looks exactly like Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah. So the funny thing is like I'm before this trailer, and I've seen other trailers, and there is a new unit type, which is the Grenader. That's the kind of the new thing that they've added for this game.
Okay.
But I've known about the game. I'm excited for it. Like I'm like, oh man, I really want to play this. Something about this trailer made me go, nah, I'm officially more excited for this game than any other game that's coming out. I am giddy excited.
So you're saying that you maybe want me to call you when the dojo's ready?
Yeah, no, totally, totally. I'll totally play it. The big thing I feel like this trailer announced is at the very end of it, they show a collector's edition that is coming to the U.S. I want that collector's edition. It's $100, but I want it.
It's got a tank.
It's got a statue of a tank.
Yep.
It's got an art book.
Yep.
It's got all the DLC, the 2 DLC missions, which one of them is basically E Company, which is the ones you're playing in this game, actually team up with Squad 7 from the first game, and then also there's more advanced Eddie missions, Eddie Ops.
Yep.
Which I'm all for.
Okay.
The only thing that would make that collector's edition better is if there was a fucking soundtrack in it.
Well, there you go. Woo, John's excited, y'all.
I am super excited. I've already got it on my Amazon wish list.
All right. Wowzers.
Like this version of it, the collector's edition, it's $100.
$100, huh?
I also thought it was interesting. The trailer says coming fall 2018. Amazon says it comes out November 27th.
Interesting. Yep.
Probably not accurate.
Probably just Amazon making stuff up.
Probably.
Amazon likes to make
They've
stuff
done
up.
that.
I mean, I would trust
But
the official
having said
trailer.
that, when I saw fall 2018, I was like, oh, it'll probably come out sometime in November. So November 27th, not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, I'm super excited.
All right, back to bad trailers. We got a new Agony mode trailer. And speaking of badly created trailers, this whole thing is in like black and white, and I can't tell what the fuck is going on.
Haven't all the trailers been like that?
No.
Every trailer I've seen has either been like black and white or it's just been black and red.
I think it's been muted colors, but like this one specifically, though, they're describing that this is some kind of like endless survival mode, but it's hard to tell what any fucking thing is because this whole thing is just kind of a black and white mishmash of junk, which is not to say that I'm not still interested in playing this game, but I think this is just a really bad trailer.
I don't even know what this game is.
Yeah.
Like, I've yet to see a trailer that actually tells me what the game is.
It's like a first person, like you're escaping hell or you're working for demons or something. I don't know. We'll find out in like 2 days when this podcast comes out. So, that.
Cool. You can tell me.
Yeah.
And I'll still not play it.
I will tell you. Everybody should tune back in for Agony. If everything goes well, might get a super surprise. A super duper surprise. And I mean, like, the regular surprises, more super than that, John. Or maybe not. Don't get your hopes up. But do check back. But don't, calm your tits. But do prepare your tits.
It's a super surprise. It's Matt Frank. No, I'm joking. It's
Matt Frank. What?
Aren't you surprised?
All right, we got another trailer for Planetfall, Age of Wonders Planetfall, which is the Age of Wonders series. Has traditionally been an RTS kind of fantasy game. This one's like an RTS kind of futuristic sci-fi thing.
Yeah,
it looks cool.
It totally looks cool. I don't know any of the Age of Wonder games, so I don't.
Not much in the there's like kind of a couple of gameplay things here, but it looks like a risk board that kind of shows stuff, and then it looks like I'm probably making little units and sending them out and doing battle. Looks cool. I think the last Age of Wonders I played was like the first one where it was like you would pick like a mythological civilization and then you would get like their gods and their monsters and stuff. And then it's like an RTS where the units were based on different mythological things. I think if I'm remembering that correctly.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Never played them.
Last trailer that we got today is actually one that I feel like I didn't know that I wanted, but now I can't wait, and that is for Astro Bot Rescue Mission. So people who probably don't know this, I've actually never played it on the. I've never actually played this particular game on Rage Select before, but when you get a PlayStation VR, it comes with the demo disc, the PlayStation Worlds or whatever, but it also there's a downloadable thing that's like a Japan studio.
Well, no, the funny thing about it is when you plug in your VR and it does the update, it automatically triggers this to download.
To start downloading it?
Yeah, like you don't even tell it to download. It just automatically triggers it to start downloading to your console, which is the PlayStation Playroom.
Yeah. And I feel like this was one of the first things that they showed off when they were showing their VR because it's very much got it's easier. You play it mostly with a controller, and you play it in one of two ways. It's either you'll be playing a controller, and then that controller is like in the game, like you can see it.
Yeah.
Which is cool because it gives you a point of reference to like where your body is. Or they had these weird asynchronous games where it was like one of them was like a bunch of little. It was up to 4 players could be playing against the person with the VR headset, where they're like running away from a kaiju, and then the person in the headset is the kaiju, and they're trying to like use their head to like smash or eat the other characters. There's one that's like a hide and seek with like cats. There's one that's like a ghost hunter where you point the controller. It's like a ghost flashlight around looking for ghosts. It was all really cool, but one of the coolest things was there was just a little like 3D platformer with these little robots that were like the mascot of this thing, and you would, they kind of came out of the controller that you had in the thing.
Yeah, they would come out of the controller, and you would platform around. It was very cute. I think there was only like 4 or 5 levels.
Yeah,
and. It was probably, in my opinion, that was probably the most fun of everything in the Playroom.
Well, it was weird because it felt like, again, that I've said this for a while now, one of those things where it's like, you don't need to get super fancy with this shit, man. Like, you just make, like, Lucky's Tale for the Oculus is like this, where it's just like, it's just a platformer, but it feels really cool because you've got the headset, so you're, like, in the world where the platforming is happening. And then this one was really cool because there were all these kind of things where you could kind of interact with the world. It's sort of like Moss meets Mario 64.
Yeah.
Where you could do stuff with the controller. Like you would have like a tether that you could like sling out and grab stuff with. And then, they're showing in here one of the cool things is that you tend to have to turn your head to look around the level while you're platforming to reorient yourself to where the little guy is. And it all just felt really natural and fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I even remember there was actually a really cool thing that I didn't notice the first time I played it, and I decided I wanted to replay it.
Yeah.
Is that there was a platforming level that I never looked down. And there was like, you're on cliffs. But if you look down, you see a bunch of secret items.
Yeah.
And it was like so simple. Like I was like, oh, you can go. I was like, I wonder how you get back up. So I had him jump down there, and sure enough, there's a way to get back up. You can totally see it when he jumps down there, and you get moved around, and it's very well done. And like, there's moments where you have to actually move the controller into things to solve a puzzle.
Yep.
And
there's a part in here where it's like you're throwing shurikens out of the controller, and then you can actually have the little robot character platform on the shurikens. There's a boss fight where you're like tethering teeth out of like a big cyber monkey. It just looks really fun. Like,
it looks totally fun, and I think this is smart. This is one of those games that they definitely. I'm glad that they're actually turning into a full-fledged game.
Yep. And if you got the PSVR and you never actually downloaded this, you should go download it because it's a really fun little experience. All right, release dates and such. I don't know if anybody has noticed by now, John, but basically the way the Rage Select podcast goes is big announcements, miscellaneous, trailers, and then announcements like release dates, pushes, moves, things like that. So,
sure.
Yep. This is what we're into. Oh, and then break, and then questions. Only in a world where people are so fucking gaga about Kingdom Hearts 3 could I have a news story that's like, guess what, everybody? Next week, the developer of Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to announce the release date of Kingdom Hearts 3. So
we've announced the release date of the release date.
Yes, it's the release date for the release date, either at E3 or the Kingdom Hearts 3 Orchestra Tour. So maybe. My bet's actually on E3, but what you going to do? Let's see. Bethesda is teasing that there's probably going to be some DLC for Prey.
Okay.
With the thing that just says resetting simulation. It's probably going to take place on the moon as opposed to the space station.
Okay.
I'm going to go back and play Prey again. It was really fun when I played it. But you know what? That's another indication of E3 we're going to be seeing Rage. We're going to be probably seeing DLC for this. I don't think there was any DLC for the Evil Within 2. We would possibly be seeing Evil Within 2 DLC.
Maybe.
And then Elder Scrolls?
Maybe something Elder Scrolls. I mean, there's obviously, like you said, Rage 2. There's there's a rumor that there's something being worked on for Doom, so maybe.
Come on, Bethesda. You do the right thing, okay? You do the right thing and announce Hexen next year at this year at your thing. Announce me a new Hexen game, and I will be your best friend. I'll send you a picture of kissy lips from Jeff.
Jeff will send you a dick pic.
I'll send you a dick pic if you announce Hexen, but only if you announce Hexen. None of this other not announcing Hexen or Doom 2. You know that Doom ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So Doom 2, Doom 2 all the way. Back to the Xbox One. It appears that the Master Chief Collection is getting some Xbox One X enhancements soon.
Oh, nice.
Try to get up to 4K.
That's good.
Yeah, and to do some other kind of just like quality of life things. So that's cool. Okay. Leisure Suit Larry. Wet Dreams Don't Dry. A play on D4, the sweary game.
Dark Dreams Don't Die. Yeah.
Is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Because if there's one thing that this world needs, it's more
Leisure Suit Larry.
Leisure Suit fucking Larry. I've never played a Leisure Suit Larry game, John.
Played a few.
Are they funny?
Sometimes.
Are they like sexy?
No. Yeah, I mean, kind of. They're cartoons or sprites, depending on which version of the game or which game you're playing.
Do you like jerk it when you're playing the game? Do you play the game and then jerk at the same time? No. Okay. All right.
That's gross, dude.
I don't know. It's
a little bit too personal of a question to ask as well, I think.
Okay. It's a general question to the world, not just specifically to John. You don't have to tell me. You tell me later. Tell me when we're not recording. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently this was there was a question about whether this was still happening, and they're like, yes, it is. I don't know. I mean, it looks like a little adventure game.
Well, it was because something popped up on Steam, but there was no information with it, so everyone was like, well, maybe this is a fake thing, because apparently another game had popped up that was similar, that had popped up in a similar manner, that turned out that it wasn't like a legit thing. It was like some fan was trying to make a fan game or something like that and put it up on Steam, and then Steve caught it and like pulled it.
Okay.
But so they were all like, take this for a grain of salt. And then like the company behind Leisure Suit Larry came out and went, no, it's real.
Okay.
It's coming out.
Cool.
It's a thing.
And last but not least, good news for John, good news for me, good news for people who like Kazuma Kiryu. Yakuza 3 through 5 are getting remastered and put out on the PlayStation 4 in Japan.
Remember what I said?
Yep.
Remember what I said?
I do.
I said it'd be awesome if I could play all the fucking Yakuza games on the PS4.
Yep. Now, this doesn't appear to be Yakuza 3 Kiwami, Yakuza 4 Kiwami, Yakuza 5 Kiwami.
No. They're just like, they're upscaled.
But, the PlayStation, like, we played, Yakuza's always looked damn good.
Oh, yeah. No, it's always looked good.
So I feel like the PlayStation 3 version's mastered upwards. I mean, hell, man, like, you know what the thing to do after that is, right? Is they put these out in the U.S., and then there will be, a bundle where you can buy Yakuza 0 through 6.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's awesome. A fucking lot of Kazuma Kiryu right there.
I would buy it.
I would buy it. I don't think I'd ever finish playing it, though.
I don't think I'd ever play it at all, but I'd buy it.
Yeah.
Just to say I have.
Yeah. What
0 through
special edition does it need to be? It's like a miniature of the town. It's like the bar. You
get a bar sign.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
Or you get I don't know, like a pressed suit.
Yeah, they give you the suit. They give you the Kiryu suit. That's what you get for it.
Yeah.
The Dragon of Dojima.
But the only problem is that it's fitted to him,
Kiryu,
so it will never fit anyone else.
Yeah, because if you're skinny enough, you're not tall enough, and if you're tall enough, you're not skinny enough.
Yeah.
No, I figured it out. Ready?
Ready.
Press on back tattoo of the whole dragon that's on his back.
That's it.
It's just boom. There you go. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to be back in just a minute with some questions, but we're going to keep the questions a little bit shorter because we went really long on this first part. So we'll see you in a minute. And we're back. We're back, John.
Yes.
Okay. It wasn't even that big of a break.
No.
Just stop smoking, man. I don't got anything to do. I'm just like, fuck. Let's just keep going. Is this why people are so productive? Because they don't have to stop every hour to go smoke?
I told you that back when you smoked.
God damn. I want to smoke so bad. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. We're going to get to questions in just a quick second. However, rather than put it off until next week, when I was checking my Twitter on the break, it looks like Total Biscuit passed away, which was not necessarily like the most surprising news because the guy had cancer and that was why he stopped doing his thing. But yeah, I don't know. I like the guy. I never really watched the show all that much, but seemed like a pretty reasonable human being, all things considered. Yeah. Also, I wanted to say that although I have in no way gotten far enough in it to make any kind of evaluation, I started playing the Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux on the 3DS last week.
Okay.
Which is really strange because it's like a...
Well, it says it in the title.
Yeah. Well, Shin Megami Tensei has been like a... For this one, the plot of the game is that humans have become so numerous that a portal, like a big... portal into the demon realm has opened in Antarctica, and it's expanding and destroying everything in its way. And so you and a team of scientists literally jump cars into the place because it's got like this plasma shield around it. And then you're in this and you're kind of just going through dungeons talking to demons. It's kind of like Persona, but there's no high school to it. It's like a bunch of dudes in weird old-timey robot armor. It's weird. Just going around doing stuff. But it's a first-person dungeon crawler.
Okay.
Walking forward one square at a time. And on the bottom screen, you've got your little map type of thing. I found it pretty enjoyable. I did, though. It's hard. And I didn't realize I spent about 4 hours dying in a location before I realized, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. I needed to go back one area and finish that area first. But so far, it's been okay. I think it's like $40 on the 3DS store.
Okay.
But anyway, mail@ragesite.com is the email address, and our first question this week is coming in from Jennifer. Jennifer says, hello, Jeff and John. With the topic of remasters, what are your ideal features for a remaster? And if there are any remasters you loved, what are they? For me, it was Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD with a major graphical improvement that outdid the cinematics and improved controls. Keep up the good work. And that's from Jennifer. So let's take it one at a time. What's your optimal remake look like, or remaster, I suppose?
I mean, for me, I don't know, I want it to look better, and if it was a game that maybe had some struggle, in certain areas, maybe it plays more smoothly and doesn't struggle. But yeah, I don't really want it changed all that much.
I think I do. I think it depends on the game, really. A lot of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era games, I feel like they had PC releases. You can jack up all the shaders and everything, right? But if it's a PS2 game, I want something like Kiwami, where they go in and redo, or the Shadow of the Colossus, which was pretty fantastic. They went actually in and did work for it. It kind of depends on the game. I mean, when they put Peace Walker out on the consoles, when it was a PSP game, but it played and it was really good looking. It worked very well because of the way that it had been put together.
But you don't want it to be like a Twin Snakes scenario.
No. Yeah, that is the one thing I don't want out of a remaster. In fact, so let's Jennifer, there's a perfect jumping off point to just talk briefly about the fucking Dark Souls remaster, because a lot of people are mad at Bandai Namco for a lot of different reasons. It's mostly people on the PC, though. Mostly it's PC people who have had Dark Souls 1 with DS Fix, and there's one other graphical mod that a lot of people use, because Dark Souls 1 on the PC, John, I don't know if you know this, never got fixed. It had capped frame rate,
looked
capped
like garbage
resolution. It was trash. And DS Fix came out, and everybody just used DS Fix, but Bandai Namco never addressed it. So I can't understand some of the saltiness. But then there's people who are like, well, I want a Dark Souls 1 completely remade in the Dark Souls 3 engine. And it's just well, that's a different thing. That's a remake. Or some people that were like, I want Anne Orlando fixed. I want them to go back in and totally redo, not Anne Orlando, Lost Izalith. I want Lost Izalith fixed, because that was the area that just had the bottom half of a dinosaur in lava,
yeah.
and it was just copy and pasted all over the map, and it was bad. We actually skipped a lot of that because I opened up the shortcut to just go past it. But part of me wants. I'm torn because, like, okay, if you were to put out a version of Dark Souls 1 that was fantastic, that was like the best version of Dark Souls 1, like, would I rather have that, or would I rather just have a nice version of Dark Souls 1, warts and all, that I can have for posterity, right? Because I don't know, like, I watched a lot of people when the multiplayer beta was going on, where there was a lot of like chain backstabs, which was a big problem in Dark Souls 1, was still happening in the remaster. And like, well, they didn't fix this, and I started to wonder, like, well, what would that mean for their netcode, right? If they tried to go in and start rebalancing the way that PvP worked by shortening and closing windows that made Dark Souls 1 PvP into this dumb. There's a chain backstab, as near as I can understand, is when you get backstabbed, and then when you're getting back up again, the invader basically just, as soon as they've got it timed so that as soon as you get to be vulnerable, they're in the middle of a backstab animation, so you just get another backstab a second or third time. But I have to wonder, like, what would it have taken for Bandai Namco to... how much work would it have taken for them to fix all these things that you're asking for? Omnidirectional rolling was a thing that people wanted. Well, omnidirectional rolling, instead of having just 8 directions, like being able to do minutia of rolling, wherever you wanted to. But you have to wonder, like, does that unbalance boss fights? Like, is the Artorias boss fight suddenly different because you have the ability to do very minute rolls? Like, does it change the feel of the game to the point where you're going to have to start rebalancing enemies? And if you're rebalancing enemies, then how do they interact when they're in this group over here? And then if that makes encounters feel different throughout the game, is that really what you want? Do you want Dark Souls 1 to feel different than it does currently? So I don't know. I'm interested in playing the Dark Souls 1 remaster just because it seems like it's Dark Souls 1. I like playing Dark Souls 1. If I want to play Dark Souls 3 is a thing. So, but I don't know. Generally speaking, I would like a little bit of work to go into the remaster. There's some of them that have come out that have been lazy, where it's just like you just took the PC version, you ported it to the PS4, the Xbox One, which are both just PCs. You put as much you turn the sliders up as high as they would go to maintain a constant frame rate, and then you just charged everybody $40 for it. And it's kind of like, well, ish. It depends on how much it costs. But the second question was, were there any remasters that you loved?
There are definitely quite a few. I mean, like, do we consider the Yakuza Kiwami games a remaster, or is that a complete remake?
This gets into so much of the semantics.
Yeah,
of the
but
names.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Was it Mega Man X Maverick Hunter for the PSP? I thought was a great, which that again is remaking that game from the ground up.
Yeah.
Which. I thought it was funny for the upcoming Mega Man X collection or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the Maverick Hunter version of Mega Man X on there, but they did take all the anime cutscenes they made for it and put it as an extra feature, so that you can watch the whole Day of Sigma thing without as a separate thing from the game.
Okay,
because that was made specifically for Maverick Hunter. But yeah, like, I mean, there's been some decent remasters.
I was actually just thinking that the other day I was watching somebody, the internet, complain about people saying that God of War 4 was like, well, Kratos is growing up, because before he just had no character or personality. He was just a murder machine. And they were just like, no, look, he did have personality. But it made me think, I'm kind of surprised that there was a God of War HD collection on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
But if there was ever a game to get a full remaster treatment, I feel like God of War 1 and 2. Like, they put out God of War 3 HD on the PS4.
Yeah.
I would have really liked it if they could have gone back and retooled God of War 1 and 2 to look as slick as 3, to have that original trilogy have a consistent graphical fidelity throughout, kind of the way that Uncharted, which also has a very good HD release, does look consistent kind of throughout.
I mean,
But like I said, I mean, the big thing for me, if you're going to be doing like a remaster, include all the DLC, release it at a price point that is comparable to the amount of work you've put into the game.
Yes.
Like, obviously, if you're remaking the game from scratch in a new engine, but you're trying to make it as faithful as possible, I'm gonna let it slide that you're charging me $50 to $60.
Right.
Though, having said that, the games that have done that weren't $60. Yakuza Kiwami wasn't $60.
No.
Yakuza Kiwami 2 wasn't $60 when it came out either.
Was Shadow of the Colossus?
I don't think Shadow of the Colossus was $60.
What about Master Chief Collection? That did a full
Master Chief was $60, but you were getting like
1, 2, 3.
you were getting all the Halo
Reach,
games, with the exception of
ODST. No, you didn't get ODST. You got ODST as a pre-order bonus, or
no? ODST got given to people who were having server problems. For free.
Okay.
But you got all you didn't get Reach either though.
Yeah.
You just got the main Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
Because those were the Master Chief games. They may have done a downloadable you get Reach at some point. But
I feel like that Resident Evil because that got remastered for the GameCube, and then that remaster got really cleaned up and put out on the PS4 and the Xbox One
and PC
like 2 years ago.
Yeah. That was a good remake.
Yeah.
Or a remaster, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, also, strangely enough, another remaster game that I actually feel is an inferior game to the original, but I do like it, is the DuckTales remastered.
Okay.
Well, because they made the game easier. They took all of the difficulty out of the game.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it looks so good. And also it has the voice of the original DuckTales cast in it, which is a feat unto itself. That it's still super enjoyable. But if you go back and play the original game, like if you play that and then go back to the original game, the original game's fucking hard.
Yeah.
And so it's weird. Like I have this weird kind of I'm disappointed because they made it easier, but at the same time, it looks so good and the controls are so polished.
Yeah.
And the voice acting and everything, it might as well just be a different game.
I'm looking at these lists online, and I'm wondering, does
I thought the Secret of Monkey Island games remasters, where you even have the button you can press to switch between the HD and the original pixels, I thought those were great.
Those were really good. Now I'm wondering though, but because on a lot of these lists are putting Grand Theft Auto 5, which I feel like when that came to the PS4 and the Xbox One, they did clean it up, and they did actually add the whole first-person mode, which I feel like is an interesting reason to go back and play the entire game, because, God, Grand Theft Auto is so much more visceral when you're just driving a car at fucking 90 miles an hour from the first-person perspective. Yeah. But I don't know that I would actually call that much of a remaster. Yeah. You know what? I think that fucking Square has done a pretty good job with the 10 remaster and the 12, which came out recently, and then they were supposed to put out all of 13 this year, right? They're supposed to put out all the HD versions.
I have no idea.
13, 1, 2, and 3. I like Final Fantasy 13. Fucking sue me.
No, you're cool for liking it. That's fine.
Boo. Oh yeah, this is one that I wish they really would fully clean up and re-release as Ocarina of Time. I wish they would make put it in a new engine, really clean it up, not just the 3DS version, which was okay, it was fine, but
don't you hate Ocarina of Time, or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, it's not that I hate Ocarina of Time. It's just that I don't have the nostalgia to back it up. So it's just not oh my god, Ocarina of Time. I'm I don't know. It seems all right. It seems clunky, it's a clunky old game because it's an old game and I'd never played it. So. Majora's Mask, on the other hand, I think is fucking banging. Groundhog Day with Zelda and a bunch of weirdo shit where the moon face hits the world and it blows everything up, and you got 24 hours, you just got to do things every day. It's fucking Way of the Samurai meets Groundhog Day meets fucking Legend of Zelda. Put out Majora's Mask. Remake that. Fuck Ocarina of Time. Remake Majora's Mask. I don't care about Kid Link becoming adult Link or any of that horse shit. I want to see the moon and the kid with the little thing on his face and turns you into the little thing. Yeah. Suck on that, nobody.
All right.
Our next question comes in from Captain Innuendo. Says, hey, Jeff and John, it is my opinion that there are too many things and not enough time to do them all.
Jeff would probably share that opinion.
It's a motherfucker. I have stacks of movies, games, books, and TV shows that I want to go through at some point, but there are only so many hours in the day. It's come to a point where there are some things that I just won't even know, or won't even try knowing. Example, some friends of mine love Harry Potter. They love the books, the movies, the extended fiction, the merchandise, the Facebook quizzes. They tell you what house you're in. He puts what house you're in quotes. I don't know why that's in quotes, Captain Innuendo. It's I mean, I guess it is a fictional thing, but
I'm a Ravenclaw.
I'm a Huffpuff. It's a lot, and I just smile and nod when people gush about it. I don't hate Harry Potter. I just don't care about it. Does this happen to you? Is there anything that people around you love with a passion that you could go your whole life without paying attention to and be just fine? Thanks for reading my question. Keep up the good work. Yours faithfully, patron Captain Innuendo. Bonus question. It says, if you're short on questions, what is a day in the life of Jeff like? What's your workflow? Do you work all day and party all night, work all night, party all day, or somewhere in between? I work all everything and then drink like a 6-pack in an hour and pass out. That's like what I do.
Well, to answer the original question,
yes.
Dark Souls.
Yes.
I could go my entire life without hearing about Dark Souls.
Woo! John knows so much about Dark Souls, and he's no interest.
Yeah. No, I half kid on that. Half kid.
Look, man, you wouldn't be a human being if you were just like fucking Jeff and this shit, man. Like, really more? Okay.
Yeah, but
I know they're going to announce Demon Souls Remastered. We are after we get to finish recording this podcast, we'll record what I think is the last part of Demon Souls, and I'm almost certain
for
that
Patreon. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, you can watch us play Demon Souls.
And I'm almost certain that E3 this year they're going to announce a remaster of Demon Souls on the PlayStation 4. And I'm just going to be like, you fucks, you fucking fucks. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but no, I'm trying to think like what. Like I agree, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I have a huge stack of DVD or Blu-rays and DVDs that I've had for like years now. That like every now and then, like I'll watch like one or two of the movies in that stack, but like that stack seems to never get smaller. You know, and I have a ton of comics that I'm behind on. Now, mind you, there's a ton of comics that I'm not behind on as well. But like because there's no internet, like I just finally got to read all of The Sixth Gun, which is a really good comic book, supernatural western, highly recommended.
Okay,
there's 9 volumes of it, plus like 3 spinoff books. I haven't read the spinoff books yet. That's next on my list. But it's really, really good supernatural western. But like that ended like a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
A little bit like it like, and it's like I had always read like the first 2 volumes and then just got behind and couldn't read it. Like so, yeah. There's tons of shit. Went to Half Price Books and they had a bunch of copies of the hardcover deluxe edition of Punk Rock Jesus that I bought because I've read the first couple issues of Punk Rock Jesus. I really like it. Plus, it's written and drawn by Sean Murphy, who's fucking super fucking talented and one of my favorite artists in comics right now. And haven't read it. It's been sitting on my nightstand waiting for me to read it. I just haven't gotten around to reading it. Shit, I've still got all of Yakuza 6 and all of fucking God of War waiting for me to play. Just waiting for me to play it. Haven't played them.
Well, but that's less. That's more of a just like you don't have time. This is actively like I don't care. You know,
okay.
like.
Well, I mean, part of it was I don't have time, but what? But yeah, his question is more of like what,
like stuff that people want you to care about that you're just like no. As I get older, there's more things on that list. Like there are a lot of people who just keep trying to get me to watch. Take your pick. X anime. I'm not interested in Steven Universe, right?
Yeah.
It may be a very good show. I'm just not interested in it. Like I've seen it, and at first I was kind of like tiptoeing around it, and then I read some of the stuff about how the fandom likes to attack their own, blah 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 blah. Whatever. That's not the whole fandom. All shows have toxic fandom, and eventually I was just like, no, I'm just not interested in this. I'm not interested in Adventure Time. I'm not interested in that either. I'm sure it's a lovely show. I'm sure it's fine. I'm just not interested in it. Like it's not. It doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
And you can make every argument about why it's a good show, and I'm not going to tell you that that you're wrong or anything. It's not for Jeff. Not a thing that I'm really interested in.
I get that. Yeah, no, I mean, there's...
I'm sure there's plenty of times on the show where there was that guy that was real mad a few weeks back that I said, what's the dragon's name? I'm not even going to say it. What's the dragon? The purple guy. Purple mascot.
Spyro?
Yes. I'm not saying it because apparently I say it wrong. I'm wrong about the way I say the name. That Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, lots of those old like platformer games, the first Jak and Daxter, no interest whatsoever. Just like I was looking at my games, Danganronpa. A lot of people want me to be interested in Danganronpa. Not interested in Danganronpa. No, I'm just not interested in reading a big old long visual novel. I think that I'm not really interested in visual novels. I'm interested in either novels or video games. Not really one or the other.
Yeah.
Gears. Not really interested in Gears anymore either. That new Gears game came out, and I was just kind of like, I don't care about you.
I'm really fucking hoping that Microsoft announces a new Gears game this year. That's kind of, and it like is going to be coming out like soon, like Christmas or something.
Yeah,
because I feel like that's what they need.
Did you play all the way through the last one?
Yeah, I beat it.
Did it end? Did it end? Did it have
a cliffhanger?
Cliffhanger. Okay.
I mean, it ended, but also had a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like it felt like we're setting this up for this is the first of a new trilogy.
Okay.
Kind of thing. But it's also one of those endings that the cliffhanger part, you kind of have to be a fan of Gears to catch the meaning behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you've never played a Gears game before and you played it and you beat it, you're like, huh, I wonder what that's supposed to mean, because they hovered on that one image or that one thing a little bit too long, and I don't know why, and it's just a design, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But if you're a Gears person and you know the lore and you played like the games obsessively, you're like, I fucking shit, like.
Oh, you know what? We had another one. Matt and I would like to take this opportunity that if any of the videos this week I've come off as overly like pissy, it's just because I haven't had hardly any sleep recently. I've just been running on zero sleep, which is that rock and roll lifestyle of Captain Innuendo's no sleep. I don't really care about Sentai or Power Rangers. Matt and I were talking about it on Injustice 2, and he was like, man, I wish they would swap out one of the Injustice 2 DLC characters for like Power Rangers.
Oh man, that would fucking be bomb as shit.
And I was like, I like the characters that are there, and I don't really care about Power Rangers very much. So, but that's just me.
Speaking of Power Rangers,
yeah,
they have a mobile game that's like a fighting game.
Oh yeah, it's got Street Fighter in it.
Yeah,
now?
they just put Street Fighter in. It's like the fuck.
Yeah, I cut that story for time out of the first
like
block.
that was. I saw that because I actually did play the game on my tablet for a little bit, for like a minute.
Yeah.
And I was just like, there are games that do it better. I was like, the Injustice 2 game is like way better on the tablet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play this. But yeah, no, it was weird. And I can understand that. I mean, Power Rangers if you look at Power Rangers, it's kind of aimed towards kids. And clearly it hit its stride at a time when you were already too old.
I was
for
a surly teenager that was like, for baby stuff. It's baby stuff for babies.
Yeah.
So
and that's cool. And the Sentai stuff, while fucking is not just for kids. It's literally for everybody. There's Sentai for every age.
Sure.
And even the Sentais that are kind of meant towards kids are still kind of adult in a lot of ways. I could totally understand not being into that. I fucking love that shit. I know Matt loves that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda fucking loves that shit.
Yep.
So but I totally get it.
Yeah, you like what you like. Also, it's like I was talking about before with Thundercats. You are correct, Captain Innuendo, John, myself. We're all sitting here saying there's too many things. It's not like I'm ever sitting around bored. Like, what the fuck should I play? I was bored for 5 minutes last weekend, and I downloaded that Shin Megami Tensei DS game remake on my 3DS and was like, oh, cool. This is a 60-hour RPG that I'll never finish. Like, Runner 3, again, all the games that are out this week, as well as the TV shows. Hell, I watched the first 2 seasons of The Killing. It's like a 4-year-old show.
I still haven't watched season 2 of Jessica Jones. Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Or some other show that I can't think of that I'm pretty sure I missed. Fuck, I missed like the back half of every CW superhero show.
I wanted to watch that Anon movie that came out that had Amanda Seyfried and fucking what's his face? Clive Owen. That came out, and I was like, oh yeah, I should watch that. And then it's like, I didn't get time to watch it. So, I haven't seen Deadpool 2 or Solo. I would like to see desperately both of those movies.
Ditto. I haven't seen either of those. I didn't get to see it last week because I was fucking dealing with internet issues.
Well, there you go.
The entire goddamn day.
All the way back around to the beginning. All right, so let's move it along here. Patrick writes in and says, "Hello, Jeff and John." It's funny. I put the call for questions this week. I put your name in it, so people are actually saying, "Hello, Jeff and John," and not just
I know.
Sexy pants.
I liked it. I don't know if you remember or saw it, but I liked it.
Yes, you did. Okay, Patrick says, longtime patron, fan since the loading bar days. Hope you don't mind, but I have a couple questions for the show. One, IGN recently released a video saying that From Software's latest teased game should definitely be Bloodborne 2. I know your opinion is that Miyazaki's time/effort would be better spent making something new, but if From did release a Bloodborne 2, what are your thoughts on how the story should expand from what From could do to make sure it doesn't make some of the same mistakes of Dark Souls 3? I think the Bloodborne and its DLC make a perfect standalone game and story, but I would play the shit out of Bloodborne 2 and probably love it. 2, in a previous podcast, you mentioned how much you love the Hamilton soundtrack. Damn right. Have you been able to go out and see the show? Took my girlfriend to see it earlier this year, and it was one of the most fun and entertaining things I've ever been to. A couple more gems like that, and I think that Lin-Manuel Miranda could reach national treasure status. P.S.
Dude, Lin-Manuel Miranda, whatever his name is the voice of Gizmo Duck in the new DuckTales cartoon. He's already reached that status.
P.S. You and Jason's loading bar video for the Deadliest Warrior video game made me laugh so hard that my abs were hurting the next day. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks. And that's from Patrick. So, he also wrote all the music for Moana, right?
Yeah.
I am obsessed. Like, I've actually started watching videos on the internet with people going through, like, what does the chord progression from this particular song mean, and then how that chord progression comes back in these 3 songs, and so you can see the tonal throughput of this musically without even listening to the words, and I'm just like, oh boy. To answer part 2 first, though, because it's real simple, I would absolutely love to go see Hamilton. It costs like $700 for the shittiest seats to see Hamilton in Austin when it comes, and if I went and I left my girlfriend at home, she would literally cut my legs off. So I'm not going to spend $1,400 just to go see a play at really, really shitty seats, especially because that play is pretty much like it's not like the cast soundtrack and then there's all this dialogue that happens in between the songs. The play literally goes from song to song to song to song to song. So you're not missing. I think there's one little thing that you don't see that I know about, but you're not missing that much if you just listen to the soundtrack. And the stage play has a rotating, it's kind of a very sparse stage that has like a big circle that rotates, and then they put like things on it to kind of dress it up briefly for scenes, and they take all that stuff away. And I'm not to say that I would absolutely love to go see it. It's just that I don't have that amount of money to spend on going to go see a play. And it would be one thing. Like, look, I would actually consider it if I could rustle up $1,400 and get like front row seats to Hamilton and Austin. You know what? I'd almost be willing to do that. I'd almost be willing to just like cut it up and be like, YOLO, bitches. Like, I need to fix a bunch of shit on my car, but you know what? I see this one time, go out to a very fancy dinner, go see Hamilton, have a really lovely night that you can think back on and be like, oh, in times of strife, you could be like, oh, but then there was that night with Hamilton. That was so nice. But you're talking about a huge amount of money for the worst seats in the house. It also really upsets me because PBS has this documentary about Hamilton, and they've obviously gone and like really lovingly filmed one of the stage shows, like with like cameras close up to the stage so you can like see stuff and like very much cut together like a movie. And I can't find that documentary anywhere except if you have to like literally pledge to PBS and then get a key to their streaming service. And I know that if they've got that much footage, they got the whole thing. Just put out a DVD. I'll give you $80 for a DVD of Hamilton. I'll give you $80 fucking dollars for a Blu-ray that's just the show from start to finish. Nothing new. That's it. I'm more than willing to give you that because then I can watch it. Anyway, sorry. Bloodborne 2. John, you liked Bloodborne.
I do.
You like Bloodborne.
Yes.
You can't fool me with your...
I never tried to fool you. I actually told you I really like the game.
Yeah, I heard it right from the horse's mouth. You didn't want people to know, but now they know.
I tell everyone that I like Bloodborne.
What would you like to see out of Bloodborne 2?
I like the You know what I'd almost like to see, and it's gonna sound weird,
Okay.
but keep the weird Cthulhu-esque H.P. Lovecraft Eldritch horror elements.
Okay.
But when we saw that first trailer, we talked about how wouldn't it be interesting if this took place in like feudal Japan, but change the setting. So just change the setting to somewhere else. Let's see what Cthulhu Eldritch horror insanity looks like in feudal fucking Japan, or in the Old West, or in
that'd be cool.
Or just somewhere else.
Yeah.
Just set it somewhere else, and you can actually put ties that, like, oh, the reason it's happening here is because of something that happened over there, or they're somehow connected to each other in some weird way. But just put it somewhere else, like have it be a different city.
Yeah.
And if you go the Dark Souls route, you technically don't have to reference the first game at all.
Well, if one of the things that he said is, what could From do to make sure it doesn't make some of the same mistakes that it made in Dark Souls 3? And the most obvious answer to that is like pick one thing. Pick one thing from Bloodborne 1 and make an oblique reference to it.
Yeah.
But for the love of God, don't just shove everything from Bloodborne 1 back in there.
You could even say something about how, like, the moon god, got a servant who was actually from another country, and that person went back to the country, so the moon god went with him,
right?
Kind of thing, whatever crazy thing, but and then now it's happening here, and now you're this new person in this new place. But that's what I would like to see, because that interesting. Like, I like the gothic horror. I love the gothic horror setting of everything about Bloodborne, but.
Bless you.
But I almost kind of want to see what those same aesthetics, those same type of horror in other setting. Like, don't change it to be more culturally appropriate to, like, don't be like, oh, we're instead of, Eldritch horror, it's going to be whatever the horror of Japan was at that time, or whatever the equivalent.
Mean Neo?
Yeah, the equivalent of that type of horror for Japan. No, have it be that fucking horror, just in Japan.
Yeah,
and have it be, how do those characters from Japan react to that?
I actually really like your idea, and I think I've mentioned this before of a Western. Like, have it be down that timeline a little bit where it's set in America, but like, boy, I can just imagine what's the name of that RPG system? It was like Deadlands or something like that.
I don't know.
Where it's like it's an Eldritch horror Western does not get enough credit. And
it doesn't.
It's an interesting thing because, and you know what? Bloodborne already has guns, but if you use them like guns in Bloodborne, or instead of like guns like in the Old West.
When you do it as a West, it's guns and knives.
Right, exactly. So it would make a certain amount of sense, and then I would really think it would be interesting to, one, see the American West through Miyazaki's kind of dark horror perspective. Two, it does give you the good kind of guns perspective, but it will also look very different because we don't have that many games. Do we have any games that are set in Eldritch West horror? I mean, Undead Nightmare maybe a little bit, but that's mostly just zombies.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Cthulhu Western is like, those are two words where I'm just like, I feel like
together. I feel like, okay, and again, I just got through reading The Sixth Gun, which again is horror Western, or the Weird West as the genre is called.
Okay.
Like, that is a element, and I'm not talking about like, oh, zombies in a Western like Undead Nightmare. I'm just talking about like just horror elements in the West. Demons and ghosts and monsters and things that are just out in the the Western world, in the Old West. Like, that stuff like is fucking, I feel like it's so ripe. Apparently there was at one point Sci-Fi Channel had optioned The Sixth Gun for a miniseries, but then they decided to go against it, and then apparently NBC had opted for a pilot, and they made the pilot, but they decided not to pick it up.
Yeah. But yeah, something like if you imagine like Red Dead Revolver with horror made by From Software.
Yeah.
Like, that could, because great, you finally gotten like far enough away from the the problem that I would have with going to Japan is I feel like they would go back to medieval. Oh, unless it was like that colonialist period where Japan had that weird fascination with like English fashion, right? Like in what's that? The Handmaid's not Tale, The Handmaiden, that Chin Park-wook movie.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, or Kung Fu Hustle, something like that, right? Except, serious and not ridiculous. But like if you had that kind of, because that would be a way that you could bring the British aesthetic, the kind of Victorian Gothic aesthetic from Bloodborne, but then put it into a new land that gives you a different perspective. Kind of like, no, Onimusha wasn't like that. But anyway, I could definitely see that. I wish that they would go bug nuts crazy. I don't feel like they will. If it is Bloodborne 2, though, I just hope that it's I hope it's one of three things. If it's in Yharnam, I hope it's either a direct prequel, because you could maybe talk about Kos, the fishing village, Gehrman and Maria. You could maybe go through that story, which might be interesting, even though those games aren't normally about the individual character story as much as the kind of world story. Way in the future, like make it in the like 1920s of past, like please don't make it like several days later, because unlike Dark Souls, Bloodborne doesn't feel like it's caught in a cycle.
Yeah.
So like Dark Souls has this timeless aspect to it. Everything just keeps starting over again, right? Whereas Bloodborne, it's like the world started and then you had things that happened that changed the world. And so after the ascension of the player character, either to godhood or whatever, like there should be a continuing evolution in that world. And that's what I hope, is that it's not just Bloodborne 2, more Bloodborne, or as you said,
Bloodborne harder.
set it somewhere else. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. What are we looking at here? Let's do a couple more here. Daniel says, hello, Rage Masters. I remember recently that Jeff mentioned that he's been watching a great YouTube series called Down the Rabbit Hole by Frederick Knudsen. I've always liked articles and videos that covered relatively obscure topics which haven't been explored in depth before, especially topics around internet personalities and sites. With that in mind, I want to ask you this question. If you were able to either commission Knudsen to do any topic of your choosing, to do a Down the Rabbit Hole-like video, or have another person do a similar thing, what topics would you choose? Is there any obscure internet or real-life thing that you want someone to research and explore? Thanks and take care, from Daniel. And P.S. I started playing Bloodborne this week and I'm hooked. I blame you, Jeff. So you should. Goddamn right. How many times do I have to say the word Bloodborne before everybody plays Bloodborne? Is it 100 more times? Because I just record a video where I just say Bloodborne 100 more times, and then everybody can start playing it. But I don't know anything internet wise. I feel like I have a lot of the things that I want to know about. Like I listen to Reply All. Do you listen to that podcast?
No.
They just kind of do like internet stuff. So like a couple weeks back, I got really fascinated by the incel stuff, and Reply All had a podcast where they basically interviewed. There was a Canadian gay woman or queer woman who started that movement in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
because she met somebody at the college that she taught at and realized that they both were like they weren't getting any, and they felt like they weren't able to get out there and talk to people, and that it originally started as a very kind of just like a support group type of thing on the internet that has now evolved into this really, really, really strange other thing. But things like that particular podcast, like I didn't know like where the fuck Uganda Knuckles came from until they explained that. There's like a lot of stuff on the internet that I kind of just wait for Reply All to tell me what exactly where it came from. If I was going to have somebody do like an investigative, like the question of what happened, like what happened there. There's a few. The biggest one for my money, there's two that are always big in my mind, gaming related. And one is what happened, Kojima? What happened between you and Konami? I want to know.
I don't think we'll ever know specifically what happened.
I don't either. The other one is, I think I already know most of it, but it'd be interesting to see somebody just put together a video going down the timeline of what the fuck happened to BioShock Infinite. Like, how did it change so many times, and how the fuck did they managed to spend money for 3 years without making a game.
No, I think a lot of video game companies have managed to spend money without actually making a game.
Well, I read an article that said that that in BioShock Infinite's dev cycle, they wouldn't prototype. They would basically develop a system for the game all the way to retail shipping level before evaluating whether it was worth keeping in the game or not, which is incredibly wasteful.
Yeah,
hugely wasteful.
Because apparently they did it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I mean the knowledge from the article that I read was that there's they made roughly 2.5 fully completed video games to get BioShock Infinite out the door, and I like BioShock Infinite, but apparently it was just a huge money hole. I don't know. There's got to be some other stuff out there, just kind of what happened with so and so, but I don't know. I tend to like the non-internet stuff a little bit more. He did a video about Rajneesh Puran, which was this kind of self-help guru guy that came in and they created a town in Oregon, I think, or something like that, and then they tried to poison the local town that was nearby on election day because they wanted to become incorporated as their own entity. This is a really interesting story, but I don't know. Anything you would like to know more about, John?
No. I mean, there's always stuff I want to know more about. I would like to know more.
You would like to know more?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
a lot of that, the problem.
A lot
Daniel,
of it is that I don't know. I want to know more about it until I hear about it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say, Daniel. Is a lot of the problem with this question is that my burning desire to know more about X is usually satiated because I go out and type X into the internet and find out whatever I can find out.
Oh yeah, no. As Amanda will attest, when I get into something or when I find out about something that perks my interest, I dive into the deep end. Mm-hmm. I will research it, and it could be something that's oh, is this for a project you're working on or some type of thing at work, or is this a YouTube series that you're thinking about trying to create? No.
Yeah.
Well, then why are you doing it? Because it interested me.
Mm-hmm.
I know way more about Aquaman than I should. And yeah, I go down this weird rabbit hole, and then randomly I'll pull up these factoids years later in my life, and people will be like, "How do you remember that?" And I'll be like, "I don't know," but I spent 4 months researching into this one specific thing that matters to no one.
Yeah.
And now I know about it.
I'll tell you one thing that I want to know is I've seen a bunch of people who do that long-form video essay thing on the internet, and a lot of them use background music that is the music from Kerbal Space Program. And I don't know whether Kerbal Space Program is using a publicly available what do they call that? Unlicensed piece of music. Public domain music, or whether the Kerbal Space Program music has been made public domain and these other people are using it.
Well, it could be that, and then also, for example, certain software, for example, Apple's GarageBand, will have music in it, music tracks that can be looped.
Yeah.
That because you own GarageBand or because you own whatever their next highest up version of GarageBand is, you can use that in whatever project you want.
Okay.
And the only thing is that if someone asks you, you have to show them proof that you legitly own that music or legitly own that software.
Right.
Therefore, because there are so many trailers and videos, and it actually annoyed me one day. I don't remember what it was. We were watching something on TV, and I heard a piece of music. I was like, "Motherfucker!" And Amanda was like, "What?" It's they're using the GarageBand music tracks. It's all GarageBand music tracks. Every fucking audio piece, because I know all of those by heart because I did a podcast and edited it in GarageBand before they took that capability away.
Nice.
But yeah, so yeah.
John's on a warpath this week. You've been very angry, John, this week.
I don't have internet.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
At home. I have internet when I'm at work. I have internet when I come over to friends' houses, which I haven't actually done anything on your internet.
Yeah.
But, I don't have internet at home.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that'll make anybody angry. All right, one more question. This one comes in from Kick-Ass Chris. Kick-Ass Chris says, "Hey, Jeff, if this question doesn't make it this week, then do it on the next week's podcast. But I went to the Dominican Republic last week and visited the first European established city of the Americas, Santo Domingo. There, my wife and I visited the oldest street, the oldest university, the oldest church, the oldest library, and the oldest still-serving tavern of the Americas. This got me thinking, what video game would you like to see take place in a city that video games have never gone before? As an LA resident and a Vegas regular, I love games like GTA 5, LA Noire, and Fallout New Vegas, but I'd love to see a game take place at Santo Domingo. Happy almost 5-year anniversary. Do something big for it. That's from Kick-Ass Chris. Yeah, we're going to try. I keep forgetting that it's like the beginning of June, so it's like in it's like a couple of days as of this podcast recording. We're going to try to do something by the end of June to kind of a big 5-year, because I mean I could put together a nice video for you, or I could try to put together a live stream. So
Depending on when it is, Amanda and I may not be there.
okay, all right.
Well, we're getting married at the end of June.
Okay,
so
we'll figure it out. We'll see how it goes.
You can't live stream our wedding, Jeff. No matter how many times you try to ask.
You say can't. I say tomato. Okay, so what video game would you like to see take place in a city video games never gone to before?
You know, I wouldn't mind seeing Santo Domingo. That seems interesting. I'm all for new places that I've never traveled, that video games have never really done. Like I do kind of feel like we're kind of getting to the point where it's like, yeah, every game is set in New York or California or or Europe. It's like, let's
Texas,
Grand
Theft Auto Austin,
no,
Grand Theft Auto Houston,
no,
Grand Theft Auto El Paso.
I'm just saying Eldritch Horror anywhere.
John started thinking about Eldritch Horror, and now he's just like, I don't care where.
Just set it there.
Yep.
No.
I understand what Max Payne 3 was in, like, what, Rio de Janeiro?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, that one was actually not bad. That one was it was kind of refreshing.
Outside of Far Cry 2 and RE5, have we had any games set in Africa recently? I'm trying to think. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like Uncharted 4 kind of did some. Well, the one with the Lost Legacy, I think, went to India, right? That was maybe Russia. We don't see that much Russia nowadays. Or do we?
Well, I mean, thinking about it, I mean, it's not Africa or whatever, but I mean, Egypt, we had Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed, yeah.
Which, that was kind of refreshing.
I'd really settle for any video game franchise that was anywhere but New York or LA. I mean, Far Cry 5 was set in Montana, and even though I don't think it did a very good job of looking like Montana, whatever, it still
it was
interesting.
And we're getting DLC for that coming out soon, too.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Vietnam one is coming out soon.
Coming out in June 6th.
Yep. Yeah. Set a horror game in a city. Maybe that.
Yeah.
I like horror game in a city. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up because I feel like, that's about it. Mail@rageside.com is the email address. If you made it this far into the podcast, please just send in a question, man. We need questions. Every week we need more questions. So send in those questions and get them in. And I think we're going to have to go play Cthulhu game, watch Cthulhu movie, listen to Cthulhu music. What is Cthulhu music? They're just like suckers, just